You're watching the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals presented by CapEd Test Prep. Tonight, the push for the postseason begins in earnest. From Jerry Peoples Stadium, 8-1 Reagan pays a visit to 8-1 West Forsyth. And welcome to Clemens. Chris Edwards, happy to be alongside Chris Hughes, and we're delighted to have you with us. Chris, we'll start our conversation tonight with Reagan. The Raiders are putting up points in bunches this season, and it's because of an offense that's led by a great senior class.
Well, Chris, since the day this senior class arrived on campus 4 years ago, they have been putting up big numbers and chalking up a lot of wins for this Raider team. And it all starts with a dynamic quarterback, Gabe Hollingsworth. He accounts for over 2,000 yards both through the air and through the ground, and as he goes, this Raider offense goes.
Now, on the flip side for West Forsyth, they're also putting up points in large numbers, and it begins on the ground for the Titans. Reagan coach Josh McGee said that West Forsyth's running back, Jamani Wilson, may be the most underrated running back in North Carolina.
Well, Chris, I don't know who's underrated him because Jamani Wilson is one of the best I've seen, maybe top 2 or 3 in North Carolina. He's already accepted an invitation to play in the Shrine Bowl of the Carolinas, and he's one of those backs that can take it to the house on any given play.
Well, as we dive deeper into tonight's game, Chris, we'll look at your keys to the game, and we'll start with Reagan. You believe for the Raiders that in order to win the game, they've got to have their offense sustain some drives.
Well, Chris, West Forsyth's offense is averaging 43 points a game. So Reagan's offense can become their best defense. Keep that West offense off the field. And to do that, they need to utilize the RPOs that they're so good at to keep the West Forsyth defensive line at bay. For West Forsyth, simply they just need to go out and dominate both lines of scrimmage. They're very good on both the offensive and defensive lines of scrimmage. And we just mentioned him, Jamani Wilson. I'll let him do what he does. He can score on any given play. He's exciting and one of the most electric backs I've seen.
Chris, for more on tonight's game, we say hi to the third member of our team, Ryan Stone, who's got our boot chilly weather forecast. Ryan?
Thanks, guys. Another thing that's going to be interesting to watch in this game tonight for Reagan and West Forsyth is just the weather, not necessarily the elements, but it's cold for the first time this season. Temperatures at kickoff tonight expected to be around 48, 49 degrees and drop into the low 40s really throughout the night. So that'll be something to be interesting to watch, especially with these high-powered offenses, and see how that affects these teams as the night goes on, Chris.
Ryan, thanks. It's the penultimate week of the high school football season, and we will have kickoff in this big rivalry matchup next on My 48. Welcome back inside Jerry Peoples Stadium. Chris Edwards, Chris Hughes, Ryan Stone, the rest of our team. Great to have you with us for a big-time rivalry matchup, Chris. It's been a very competitive series between these two clubs tonight, the 16th all-time meeting, and maybe a little bit of bad blood considering Reagan knocked West out of the playoffs last year. But as we look at our Mayberry's Ice Cream scoop of the game for tonight, we'll talk about how important this game is in the conference. And the Central Piedmont Conference is just a dogfight with 4 teams, as you can see with the standings, all fighting for a conference championship. 4 teams 2-1 in league play. So tonight's game going to go a long way to determining who wins this conference championship.
You're absolutely right, Chris. You see West Forsyth and Reagan right up there at the top, 2-1 in conference, but also Glenn and Davie. And the ironic thing is Reagan's only losses to Glenn. West Forsyth's only losses to Davie. Very, very good football teams, all 4 of them. They're all a little bit different, but they're all very good at what they do.
And can't count on East Forsyth, the reigning 4A state champs, either. They could make a push in the final 2 weeks of the season. That is tonight's Mayberry's Ice Cream Scoop of the Game, brought to you by Mayberry's Ice Cream, making memories for over 50 years. So a big one tonight, and the place that is affectionately known as the Village. It was West Forsyth who won the toss tonight, elected to receive the opening kickoff. And so we will have C.J. Hill booted away to start the contest off. It's Reagan in the white, West in the gold, and we are glad to have you with us on a beautiful night for football. Can't beat it. Early November, 2 weeks to go in the season, and much on the line for both of these clubs.
We're about 8 days away from seeding Saturday before we find out the playoff brackets. 2 heated conference rivals, and it's the first game where it really feels like football weather. It is beautiful out there tonight, and again, you got these 2 big rivals. It's going to be a fun night for football, Chris.
As we mentioned, the 16th all-time meeting. Reagan won the last one in the playoffs here a season ago. The Raiders looking for their 2nd win over West Forsyth for the first time in program history. And off we go from Peoples Stadium. A fair catch is botched and then loose at the 30-yard line. West scoops it up, and we will see this Titan offense on the field for the first time, led by their senior quarterback, Jalen Ferguson, who's done a very nice job of managing this Titan offense.
He certainly does, and he could be the difference. You know, that the Reagan defense, they're going to really be focused on trying to stop Jamani Wilson, and you know, rightfully so. And that could allow Ferguson to kind of be the difference, because he is good enough. He is very shifty with his feet, but he's making some very good decisions here down the stretch. He's good enough that if they focus on Wilson, he could be the guy that really breaks their back.
Could also beat their back through the air a little bit. Almost 1,000 passing yards this season. Coach Snow told us that West has thrown a touchdown pass in every game this season, 10 touchdown tosses for an offense that is primarily predicated on running the football. They will start the game looking to throw. Ferguson is flushed and dumps one that is dropped by Shane Jarvis. As we take a look at our Ortho Carolina starting lineup for this West Forsyth offense, we mentioned Ferguson, the quarterback, obviously Wilson, the starting running back, but don't forget about Zy Dillard, who's a great playmaker as well.
I like Zy Dillard. He's a really good change up to what Wilson's able to do. He also has big numbers on offense, 817 yards, 7 touchdowns, but they've got 3 or 4 receivers out there who can catch it and really do some dangerous things as well.
On 2nd down and 10, Wilson is being chaperoned off the field by our referee. Maybe some sort of equipment malfunction. It does not appear that Wilson is all that pleased, so they will shift Dillard into the ball game for this 2nd down and 10 play. Reagan crowds the box. Dillard gets the call and fights away across the 30, out to the 32-yard line as we take a snapshot of this Reagan defense on our Ortho Carolina starting lineup. Ortho Carolina, you improved, and it starts up front with that big front 4 led by Jonathan Aguatu and Trevor Willard.
Yeah, Aguatu is very powerful, but Seth Caldwell, Nathaniel Carson, Trevor Willard, we just seen Lamar Williams with that big stop right there. He was leading the way with the linebacking crew. This is a very sound Reagan defense. They can put a lot of different fronts there. They're basically a 4-2 defense, but they can do a lot of things to kind of give you a hard time.
63rd tackle of the season for Williams a moment ago before this 3rd down and 9 play. Our first marker of the night, and so we will take a peek at the penalty marker, which is offside called against the defense.
You know, a game like this, Chris, it's already full of emotion, and you know, both coaches really stressed to me over the course of the week that we can't allow the emotion to take over, but we've got to keep the young man grounded, because you know, penalties, little mistakes like that, you know, as a coach, you don't mind the aggressive penalties, but basically, you know, I'll quote Coach Snow, boneheaded penalties like that would drive him crazy.
So 3rd down and 9 becomes now 3rd down and 4 a minute into this football game. Full house backfield. Handoff goes straight ahead, and fighting his way is Wilson out across the 42-yard line. It's a Crescent Ford of High Point 1st down. Ride to the game in style with a new F-150 from Crescent Ford of High Point.
And let's just take a look at this play right there. You're going to see Ferguson. He's just going to fake the zone to the inside, and you see Jamani Wilson able to pick up 6-7 yards just to move those chains. And if you can do that all night, you're going to have a big night offensively.
So now nearing midfield from the pistol, and more flags. It'll be a false start caught against West Forsyth, so one penalty on either side. And West Forsyth, like all of our local high schools, have strong local community support. Rosano Capital Group is supporting West Forsyth's game here in the stadium tonight, and we thank all of our sponsors, including Ortho Carolina. The physicians at Ortho Carolina Winston-Salem are here to get you back on track with 5 convenient area locations. No referral is needed to schedule an appointment. Ortho Carolina, you improve. So now 1st and 10 becomes 1st down and 15.
You know, we saw the close-up right there of some of those big linemen, Owen Brown and Grant Copeland a second ago. They're the guys that's really going to get ahead and try to allow West Forsyth to get this conversion.
Little toss play. Wilson running near side. Has a block and spun down near midfield. Gets the penalty yards back, plus a few more. It's 2nd down and manageable. Nice job using the sideline as a boundary that time by the Reagan defense.
And I know it wasn't the big touchdown play, but I think with this play, and you can see it right there, the little toss out to Wilson, that gives you just a little bit of a glimpse of just how electric he can be and how quick he can get to that edge and get defenses really out of position.
Averaging 7.7 yards per carry this season, almost 129 yards per game. Ferguson flushed, eyes downfield, going to tiptoe out of bounds across midfield. He'll gain a couple of yards and bring up 3rd down and medium.
You know, Ferguson, he's not the slash kind of quarterback that's going to go out there and rush for 100, 200 yards a game, but he is just nimble enough to be able to extend the plays, move the chains, and kind of keep the defenses off balance.
6'4", 180 pounds. I imagine that 6'4" frame helps him in the pocket a little bit too.
I think it really does. I mean, he's a big kid.
A toss. It's Wilson to the far side. Has the 1st down and scampers his way deep into Reagan territory. It's another Crescent Ford of High Point 1st down.
Yeah, we're going to look here and see the spot that they gave Wilson, but it's still a huge play, and really that's the same play we saw two snaps ago. Let's just look at the little toss over to Wilson to the outside, but look at it right there. He has got an extra gear right there, and you can see him turn the jets on to really pick up some yards.
Quick throw, bobbled, and Dillard brought down in the backfield. It was his 6th catch of the season, but leading the charge defensively, Shamar Revel, his 66th tackle of the year.
Yeah, and you know, Chris, I think Shamar Revel should get a lot of credit for really tripping him up, because without him getting out there and getting in space and stopping him, that could have been 6.
So a loss of 2 as Coach McGee looks on. Josh McGee doing a phenomenal job for this Raider program in his 9th season, 61-44 in his career. Ferguson keeps it and stretches down to the 30-yard line. Arnett and Williams combine on the stop. It'll bring up another 3rd down for this Titan offense on the opening drive of the game.
But that is another scenario right there where that defensive line for the Raiders, they really collapsed down and stopped everything from going forward. But it was just the nimbleness and just the toughness of Ferguson just to get a couple yards out of it.
Under 9 minutes to go, opening stanza. 2 3rd down conversions on this opening drive for West Forsyth. This their longest potential 3rd down conversion of the evening. Trips to the top of your screen. Ferguson with pressure. Heaves one incomplete. There was pressure. West wanted a flag there on the hit from Jonathan Aguatu, the William and Mary commit, but it'll bring up 4th and 7, and it seems like West is maybe in that no man's land here.
Well, I think it was a good no call on the penalty. You just take a look at it right here. I think that it is a really good decision by Ferguson just to kind of stretch it out and throw it away. The coverage by Coach McGee's secondary right there for Reagan, you know, they had that play covered up. There was really nowhere to go, but we're certainly in that 4-down territory. I think you just in that tweener zone. I don't think Coach Snow really wants to kick a field goal from this far. And even if you don't convert, you've got the Raider defense kind of backed up.
Would be a 48-yard field goal try from here. So on 4th down and 7, a pass to the flat is batted down twice and incomplete. Boy, a couple of different Raiders had a shot at it, but probably better for Reagan that it falls incomplete.
Yeah, it probably is, because they're going to get the ball a lot closer than where they would have got it had it been intercepted and possibly started back there inside their own 10-yard line. But an overall very good start for the defense for Coach McGee. Just a very good start altogether.
One more look.
Just great zone coverage back there. You know, he put a cloud over the top. Looks like he could have made a receiver could have got the catch, but, you know, again, just terrific coverage.
Through the hands of Stephen McMillan, and now Gabe Hollingsworth, in the four-year starter for Reagan, will engineer the offense that starts on the ground with DJ Moyer, a 5'9" senior, who fights ahead for maybe a yard.
He maybe got a yard, and that's probably going to be generous. You saw Pat Smith. Look at him right there, 6'5", 350 pounds, 52 tackles coming into this game. That is a big fella. You could just see him moving a lot of guys, Chris.
Actually lost a yard there, so for Smith, his 8th tackle for loss this season. Hollingsworth and Moyer, a dynamic backfield certainly for Reagan. 12 on the play clock. Revel in motion on the fly sweep. And he is swarmed under by the West defense as we take a look at the Ortho Carolina starting lineup for this Reagan offense. Ortho Carolina, you improved. You mentioned Gabriel Hollingsworth, the senior quarterback. Moyer is there, but don't forget about guys like Revel and Woods, who are also big playmakers.
Oh, man, there is a lot of playmakers on that team. Revel, I really like him. 31 receptions coming in on the season. Bryce and Canty, really good offensive unit.
But facing their first third down of the evening, Hollingsworth wants to throw, throws over the middle and off the hands of Taze Woods, incomplete. As we look at the defense now for West Forsyth on an Ortho Carolina starting lineup, you mentioned the front for this Titan club.
Oh, that front is probably collectively the best defensive front unit in the state of North Carolina. They've been wrecking havoc on teams all year. You see Kendall Williams, the corner right there, just made that big play to break up that pass. Again, this is a phenomenal defensive unit.
So a 3 and out, and now C.J. Hill on to punt. Hill's been a guy that's really pleased the coaching staff, has done a nice job in the last couple of weeks of flipping the field position. Back deep for West is Williams. Down to 5 on the play clock, and Hill gets off a spiraling kick. And will die at the 45-yard line. That's where West will take over for their second possession of the night. No score. We're underway here at West Forsyth on the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals presented by Cap-Ed Test Prep.
Throughout the 2019 Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals season, Thomas Tire and Automotive will recognize a teacher who goes the extra mile to educate the students at each participating school. This week's Thomas Tire and Automotive Educators of the Week are Miss Jacqueline Showers from West Forsyth and Lauren Fossa Davis from Reagan High School. Each Educator of the Week will receive an award plaque and a $50 Thomas Tire and Automotive gift card. Weekly winners will go on to compete for the 2019 Educator of the Year Award and a $2,500 grant to be presented at the end of the season. Congratulations to Ms. Showers and Ms. Fossa Davis. Thomas Tire and Automotive is proud to support our local educators.
Those were our Thomas Tire Educators of the Week as we welcome you back to People's Stadium. No score. Second drive of the game for West. They converted a couple of third downs on that opening drive. But it's interesting, Chris. Ferguson, their quarterback, 1 for 3 for -2 yards. Just shows you how good the running game has been for the Titans.
It really does. This is a time where both teams just kind of need to settle in and find a rhythm.
They start on the ground here, and it's Wilson looking to break one. Into the second level. Off he goes, and the Titans strike first. 55-yard touchdown run for Wilson, and a United Rentals touchdown.
Well, I said they need to find a rhythm, strike up the band. There's a big one right there. Jamani Wilson, we talked about in pregame. He is electric, can score on any given play of the game. Let's take a look at it right there. Handoff just to the inside. And take a look at the cut right here to the outside. And as soon as he gets there, he finds an extra gear, and there's just nobody going to catch him.
23rd rushing score of the season for Wilson, who rushed for over 1,500 yards a season ago. And Chris, he's got 4 carries for 99 yards already tonight. And it is an Ortho Carolina and a United Rentals touchdown, brought to you by United Rentals, America's leading equipment rental provider and the Triad's local source for all your construction equipment and tool rental needs. One play, 55 yards, and West takes the lead. Reagan football when you return on a beautiful night for football at West Forsyth. West Forsyth with a quick 7-0 lead in this first quarter thanks to a 55-yard run from Jamani Wilson, and now Reagan gets the football back. What's your assessment of the game to this juncture, Chris?
Well, I mentioned right before Wilson took off on that 55-yard touchdown that I thought both teams needed to find some rhythm. West certainly did that, and you can see the offense there. You see Wilson congratulating his offensive lineman. That's a young man that's going to do very well. For Reagan, they really just didn't have anything to do. What Coach McGee's going to do and what he's very good at with his RPOs is giving you a lot of different formations. He might run the same plays, but he's going to give West a lot of different looks up front just to find out what combination works.
Ready for another kickoff. It's Jalen James ready to boot it away. Deep kick, angles toward the sideline, and it's fielded by Moyer on the sideline, then steps out of the 10. Let's go back a couple of plays and take a look at this touchdown run by Jamani Wilson. Just got to the second level and away he went.
And I really like this end zone camera view because you can see where that West offensive line just completely pancaked that Reagan defense. And again, we just talked about them dominating the line of scrimmage. Wilson is a spectacular talent. I mean, he's one of the best in the state, but you've got to give credit due to those big guys up front that really made that happen.
Coach McGee from Reagan said that he thinks that Jamani Wilson is a top 3 running back in North Carolina. I tend to agree with that.
Couldn't agree more.
Yep. We'll see what Reagan does on their first drive of the first play of the second drive, and it's a good running play here for Moyer, who breaks free down the sideline, and Moyer will never be caught. Touchdown, 90 yards. It's actually Taze Woods with his 16th carry of the season, and Woods goes 90 yards for the United Rentals touchdown.
That's the way you answer a score right there. First play, leave no doubt. Great play call by Josh McGee. Matt Vogel, the offensive coordinator. Let's take a look at it right there, and that is just a basic RPO look that McGee likes to use. He gets flow going one way, and you got the ball coming out another way. Just no answer to that speed he's got right there.
And the extra point is good by C.J. Hill. United Rentals touchdown. Brought to you by United Rentals, America's leading equipment rental provider and the Triad's local source for all your construction equipment and tool rental needs. How about this for fireworks in the first quarter?
Wow. I mentioned a little bit ago, both teams needed to find some rhythm. I think they both found it. Let's just look at it again right there. Woods just going down the sideline, and that's some speed, and you've seen Kendall Williams trying to get the angle on him, trying to put himself out there to make the tackle, but it just was not happening. Great, look at that camera work too. Great touchdown by Reagan. Did we mention this is a big rivalry? Because these two teams are throwing some haymakers at one another.
Wow. After kind of a opening drive for both teams that was less than ideal, one play on the second drive for both clubs, and bam, a couple of big scores. And buckle in, Chris. I think we could have a good one here tonight.
Absolutely. And you know, a offense dominated by seniors over there on that Raider sideline. Woods is one of the few juniors out there making some big plays. So, you know, he's one of those guys that's going to be heard from for at least another year over there in Pofftown.
See what Reagan does on this kick. They had a pooch kick earlier. West has got a couple of big playmakers in Zy Dillard and Jamani Wilson back deep. See if Hill avoids those two guys. He does. Another pooch kick. And Morris signals for the ball, has it, and is spun down out across the 30-yard line. Decent return by Braylon Morris, and we'll see what this West Forsyth offense does on its third drive of the game.
Yeah, and you know, going back to that kick, Chris, I think that Coach McGee is willing to sacrifice the yards on the short kick to potentially save 70 or 80 going down the other way. Kind of playing the odds.
I think both teams are probably going to do that from a kickoff standpoint.
Absolutely. When you got playmakers that are that quick, that fast, that can turn on an extra gear, and there you see Coach McGee. He's been around in this rivalry for a long time. You know, they know what's up.
Coach McGee actually played here at West Forsyth. So did Coach Vogel, his offensive coordinator, and his defensive coordinator, Richard Burton, all played here for West. So a little bit of a homecoming of sorts. On the ground again, and it's Wilson who scampers out after another Crescent Ford of High Point first down.
And Wilson, you know, you start getting some good feelings about yourself over there, moving the ball, scoring a quick touchdown, and Wilson, Jamani kind of says, hey, remember, I'm still here.
Wilson, Chris, has offers from Wake Forest, Charlotte, Western Carolina, North Carolina A&T, Old Dominion, and Coastal Carolina. I'm sure more will come his way. As a little RPO that's snuffed out by the Reagan defense. It'll be a loss of a couple of yards. Good defensive play by Lamar Williams, the weak side linebacker.
And I am shocked that some bigger schools haven't come calling on Jamani Wilson. You know, he is, I don't want to say undersized, but 180 pounds. He's got room to put 10, 15, maybe 20 pounds of muscle on him. He's already got the speed. I don't think that 195 will slow him down too much, but he has all the traits that you look for in a back at the next level.
After a loss of a yard, it's second down and 1, or second down and 11, I beg your pardon. And straight ahead, Wilson gets 4 or 5, brings up another third down.
Yeah, and you know, you can get 4 or 5 yards every play. As a coach, you're going to take it because eventually those 4 or 5, like we just saw, are going to get you 50, 60.
Some personnel changes here for West as Adrian Snow, the head coach, looking on in his 18th year overall, his 12th here at West. 105 career wins as the head coach of West Forsyth, 146 overall career wins, and a band that has been around and seen it all in high school football. RPO, Ferguson is flushed, looking downfield, and it is hauled in for a first down and more. A good play as the tight end Jordan Kennedy makes his 5th catch of the season.
And with that catch, that's over 1,000 yards now passing for Jalen Ferguson. And Jordan Kennedy's just that big tight end, kind of that H-back, 6'1", 215 pounds, and he's only a junior. This young man's only going to get better and just kind of found the soft spot in between the zone of that defense to pick up some big yards.
Another Crescent Ford of High Point first down. And West is into the red zone here. A 30-yard pass play to Kennedy, and now Wilson totes the mail and picks up 2.
That's just 2 big offensive and defensive lines going at each other, and Wilson was able to pick up 4 or 5 yards, but it looks like we've got an injured player for the Raiders.
Yeah, I can't pick up the number, so that will stop the clock with less than 5 minutes to go as the trainers come out and attend to the injured player. Looks like it might be Samuels who is down, one of the backup nose tackles. And this is one of the things for Reagan that they can ill afford is to have any injuries, because it's a team that Coach McGee told us not deep in any position group, and their motto is team first, to be able to put the team ahead of yourself and do what the club needs you to do. And when you lack depth, to have a guy go down, it's tough, especially this late in the season.
Yeah, especially this late in the year, and why he may be a backup. Chavez Samuels is a really good player. Had 25 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. That stat line tells me he's a player, and you definitely don't want to lose him in a game of this magnitude. We hope that young man's going to be okay.
6 foot, 275, and the defensive line is the heart and soul of this Reagan defense, and being helped off the field. Certainly don't want to speculate, but you hope it's just maybe a bad cramp or just a rolled ankle that he can tape up and get back in.
Yeah, it looks like it could be an ankle. A game like this, I suspect that young man's going to be trying to get back in the game as soon as possible.
Well, let's step back now and take a look at this game from a defensive standpoint for Reagan. Folded but didn't break a little bit on the first drive. Gave up the long touchdown run on the second drive. And now a couple of big plays here on drive number 3. What is Coach McGee and Coach Burton on that defensive staff talking about right now?
Well, Coach McGee told me that he knew coming into this ball game that Coach Snow and Coach Sean Joyce are going to try to run the ball right down their throat. That's just their MO, so what they like to do. And he said they're just going to have to find a way to scheme to kind of mix up the fronts, mix up their look to, number one, stop Wilson, but just to stop the run.
Ferguson with plenty of time. Pocket collapsing. Eludes one tackler and is chaperoned out of bounds after a gain of 2. Brings up another 3rd down as Ferguson just lives to fight another down.
And what I like about him, again, you know, he doesn't have the big numbers on the ground. You know, he's not the slash kind of quarterback that's going to pick up 1,000 rushing and 1,000 passing, but kind of similar to Ben Roethlisberger. Let's just use him for example up in Pittsburgh. A big guy that can run just enough to extend the plays, and when you got an offense full of receivers like West has, that might be all you need just to find that little dump off spot, kind of in the soft spot of the defense.
3rd down and 6. Back to the ground. It's Wilson trying to get to the edge. Bulls over one defender inside the 10, and boy, he is going to be close. It will depend on the spot.
He's going to be close, but he really buried that shoulder and tried to pick up those yards. But Reagan's defense, you know, they didn't budge. You know, they stood tall to the challenge. And let's just take a look at this replay right here. There you see Wilson going to the outside, and he's following the block, and he cuts it up right here. Kind of runs into his own man, but he, you know, he gets going full speed. That's a hard load to bring down.
It is a Crescent Ford of High Point 1st down. They do extend the chain, so now 1st down and goal to go for this West Forsyth offense. Under 3.5 to go in the game's opening stanza. Wilson straight ahead again and cut down inside the 5-yard line. Touchdown saving tackle at the 4. It's 2nd and goal.
Yeah, 2nd and goal. That was C.J. Arnett that kind of came in as the rover position to kind of make that tackle to trip up Wilson.
28th tackle of the season for the 5'8 junior. To the ground again. It's Wilson straight ahead, and West regains the lead. 2nd rushing score of the night for Wilson, and a United Rentals touchdown for West Forsyth.
Wow, just right up the middle again. I said you keep dialing up the same play, and eventually it's going to break for a touchdown. Got to credit that offensive line again. Let's take a look at it right there. Look at the push by every man on that offensive line. Coach McGee told me that he thought that this was the best offensive line unit in the entire state, and they're showing it right there because they're really the ones getting the push for these scores.
10 carries, 135 yards, and 2 scores tonight for Jamani Wilson, averaging over 13 yards a carry.
I was going to say, I'm not a math major, but I could figure out that one right there. That's a lot of yards.
So Wilson has put the team on his back in the opening stanza, has scored twice, moving his touchdown count to 24 on the ground, 27 total if you count his 3 receiving scores. And man, we knew he was good, but I think people at home are now seeing how good Jamani Wilson really is.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you don't put up these kind of numbers in a big competitive 4A classification without being really good. And let's not forget the fact that West Forsyth really aggressively scheduled. You know, they played some really good defensive teams. Mooresville, Dudley, Mount Tabor. They've played some of the best teams in this 4A class, and he's still putting up those big numbers on a week-in, week-out basis. That shows you how, one, tough he is, how fast he is, and just how well prepared he is to be able to, you know, in the weight room, to be able to withstand those whippings.
I think it also goes back to something Coach Snow told us this week. This is a West club that goes 3 deep now at running back. We talked about Zy Diller. We haven't seen Nassan Johnson yet, or Sims. Those are guys that also play a key part for this club. And, you know, maybe saving some of those carries for Wilson early in the season are preparing them to have a nice stretch run in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I mean, I think offensively. Their West is about 3, maybe 4 deep at the running back. I remember watching this JV team last year and looked at the running backs that he had coming up and was like, wow, I mean, they're going to be able to move the ball and score points for years to come, and they're definitely putting on a show tonight.
Let's go down to the field and say hi again to Ryan Stone. Ryan?
Yeah, guys, that West Forsyth offensive line really kind of starting to dominate up front. Big part of that is when they're not on the field, they're over here in front of the TV down here on the sideline watching film. Coaching staff really pointing out to them all the advantages that they have against Reagan at the moment, Chris.
Ryan, thanks. Reagan will start on the ground. Little RPO. They flip it out to Woods, who just had the touchdown run. Woods into the second level and drugged down by a couple of defenders. Another nice play for Woods is Giovanni Riccardi, the inside linebacker, who also plays midfield on the lacrosse team, was there to bring him down, his 19th tackle of the season. Here's the replay.
Look at that RPO, though. Again, everything kind of starts and ends with Gabe Hollingsworth. Coach McGee's play calling is really the equalizer in this. Just even though they're down 14-7, you cannot count this team out, because the way he moves his players around and the way he does these RPOs, they could score on any play.
28th catch of the year for Woods, and now Hollingsworth on the ground calls his own number and gets close to the line of scrimmage. You know, Hollingsworth, we talked about the 1,300 passing yards he has, Chris, but he's now approaching 700 rushing yards on the season.
He is tough. He's physical. Not only is he a good football player, he's a lacrosse player. Very, very physical sport. I don't think you can overstate the physicality in that sport enough. He is one tough, gritty player. And he, you know, with him, this offense goes, and he's doing a really good job right now.
Hollingsworth committed to Columbia, so he's also doing the work in the classroom as well. An Ivy League school wants to throw a fade for the end zone, incomplete. Trying to target Bryson Canty, one of the backup running backs, who actually has 26 catches on the season, goes through his hands and brings up 3rd down in the yard. Here's the replay.
Yeah, very, very good look. I like the aggressive play call. I like going deep. But wow, good defensive effort. That's James Gordon, who went way upstairs to kind of keep that pass from going, deflecting that pass. I like the call, though.
That was my next question. Do you like taking a shot on 2nd down and 1?
Absolutely. You can come back on 3rd and short, convert, and then do it again.
Reed is the motion man. Moyer tries to get to the edge, and it's going to be close.
I think the last effort's going to get it. We'll see about the spot, but I think he has it.
We'll wait for the signal and an official timeout for a measurement. And we'll see how good the eyes of Chris Hughes are up here in the booth.
Well, it's in their contract. The chain crew have to get a certain amount of views on TV, so we're going to get them out of the way early. But I do think that second effort may have gotten it. But I am getting a little older up there. You never know.
Whew. About half the nose of the football.
Still got 20/20 vision.
Okay, let's not get carried away. Here's the replay.
Yeah, but look at the effort right there. But wow, that is Mac David that tried to pull him back, tried to keep them from getting that conversion. He is the leading tackler on this team, 88 tackles. He is a beast of a young man. Comes in there trying to bring to make the tackle.
So new set of downs inside the 30-yard line. 100 seconds to go in the game's opening quarter.
I think you go for the end zone right here.
And movement. And that will back the Raiders up 5 yards. Will be the 2nd penalty on Reagan tonight. Still take a shot to the end zone now?
On 1st and 15, probably not. I think you'll probably see one of the RPOs and give Hollingsworth an opportunity to either keep it himself, to hand it off. You know, one thing they do really good in their 3rd and long or 1st and long situations is run a jet sweep, get the flow going one way, and then give Hollingsworth the option to either throw or pass.
Both head coaches, great friends. Don't talk a whole lot during game week. They do go with the RPO, and it's Canty who gets some of the penalty yardage back, but that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, once you get that 1st or any kind of long yardage, if you got 1st and long yardage, go ahead and run the ball, get what you can, kind of get yourselves back composed, and then get ready to go.
So now 2nd and 12 after a 3-yard gain. What's the play call? More RPOs, you think?
I think it is, or maybe some sort of a short intermediate pass. I don't think you try to get it all in one play right here.
10 on the play clock. Play action. Hollingsworth flips one to Woods, makes the catch, and gets to the original line of scrimmage, and that's it. It's the the second catch of the night for Woods. He had that 25-yard gain earlier, also has that 90-yard touchdown run. It'll bring up 3rd down and 10 with less than 30 seconds to go.
And that was a good job for him to grab the ball, though, and get positive yards out of it, because Will Knight, the outside linebacker for the Titans, almost took the interception back to the house.
Reagan does not have to run another play this quarter, and it does not appear they will do so. They will take a couple of minutes to regroup and get ready for this 3rd down and 10 play. An exciting opening 12 minutes from Jerry Peoples Stadium. Some big plays by the big playmakers on both sides. And at the end of one stanza here in Clemens, it's a 14-7 lead for West Forsyth. We'll have the second quarter coming up on the other side of this timeout. This is the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals presented by Cap Ed Test Prep. Here's your tonight's Cap Ed fan cam. Cap Ed, take control of your academic future with Cap Ed Test Prep. Some smiling faces on both sides in this big rivalry game. Boy, a lot of fun in the first quarter. It's 3rd down for Reagan, and Hollingsworth keeps it, carries a man with him, and bowls to the end zone. The 7th rushing score of the season for Hollingsworth. And how about that 3rd down conversion?
That I mentioned that he was physical and tough. He sure showed it right there. He pulled those guys with him, was able to break free and go in for the touchdown. Wow, he showed a lot to me. I mean, big-time play.
6'3", 210, maybe some of that lacrosse physicality transferring to the football field, and a United Reynolds touchdown for Reagan as Hollingsworth will hold for the extra point. And Hill ties it up as he converts his second PAT of the night. Hollingsworth on 3rd and 10, the big physical run, and it's a 14-14 game. More of the second quarter after this on the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals presented by Cap Ed Test Prep.
My toes are cold, by the way.
I'm actually pretty. 14-14 early in the second quarter. Chris, this has just been a fascinating first quarter plus.
Did I mention this is two rivalries and it's going to be a really good game because these two teams have shown up. I mean, we done seen the fan cam. The fans have shown up. I mean, what a tremendous atmosphere for football. But two teams that just, they brought it. I mean, Reagan showed up off the bus ready to play, and West is obviously, they've shown up to play. I mean, this is just a tremendous high school football game. Here you see Jamani Wilson. I mean, wow. I mean,
2 touchdowns tonight. I mean, look how dirty his jersey is already with 9 seconds into the second quarter.
Any kudo or superlative anybody wants to throw on that young man, he deserves them all and then some. He is a player.
I imagine he's going to be in the conversation for an all-state selection.
Should be, absolutely.
Could be Conference Player of the Year, depending on how things shake out over the final couple of weeks of the season. Deep kickoff this time, and it is hauled in by Nelson Johnson. Johnson across the 30 and out to the 35-yard line. And stay tuned. Coming up at halftime, we'll have the Omega Sports Halftime Report, which will include this week's Scholar Athletes, principal interviews, highlights, and so much more. Shop Omega Sports, offering a wide variety of sporting clothes, apparel, and accessories. Play like a pro with Omega Sports. First drive of the second quarter coming up for this West Forsyth offense. It's been the Jamani Wilson show thus far, and no reason to think that's not going to continue here.
Well, we just got that shot of Isaiah Brooks and, you know, Grant Copeland and Owen Brown and Cody Knotts, those big guys up front. They're the ones that needs to take charge right now.
It's Wilson over the right side and gains a couple of yards. You know, a couple of names we haven't really talked about on this Reagan defensive front, Trevor Willard and Jonathan Aguatu, the two guys that are the leaders of this front four. They've really been held in check so far tonight.
They really have, and again, a lot of that has to do with the offensive line and just the push that they're getting them. It's just they're in it. I mean, they're playing very good. I mean, they're not taking plays off. They're in it every play.
2nd and 9. Again on the ground, and again it's Wilson who surges ahead for a Crescent Ford of High Point first down. With a wide selection of SUVs, Crescent Ford of High Point has the perfect one for your team. Another physical run by Wilson.
Yeah, just take a look at it right here. You'd think that someone up here is controlling him with a PlayStation controller, the way he gets out there and he presses that X button for some extra speed. Because, again, he has an extra gear, and he kind of has that trucking motor to get in there and push those linemen down. I mean, for his size, I mean, he is a very physical runner.
There was a flag on the play, Chris. It was a face mask called against Reagan, and it is the personal foul variety, so tack on 15 yards to the end of this run. That is the 3rd penalty of the night for Reagan. 25 yards in penalties so far for the Raiders compared to just 1 penalty for 5 yards for West. So that could be a big sticking point as the game moves forward.
Yeah, and there you can see Coach McGee, you know, he's yelling at his guys to get their head in the game. But, you know, a guy that good, they got to try their best to pull him down.
Ferguson wants to throw, wants it all over the middle. It's Braylon Morris inside the 15-yard line.
Wow, what a strike right across the middle. That pass was on a rope. It was right there. Wow, what a catch.
4th catch of the season for the 6'3" sophomore.
And now we're in hurry-up mode. I can see Sean Joyce, the offensive coordinator, yelling out the instructions to get them going right again.
Sean Joyce, the former head coach at East Gaston. It's the first time Adrian Snow has not called plays in over 20 years. It's Wilson who breaks to the outside, carries 3 men with him. What a run down to the 6-yard line.
And just to go back to that conversation, I'm glad you brought it up. Coach Snow was not calling the plays. He has always called plays as the head coach, but I think that shows his comfort level in Sean Joyce, someone that he knows well to trust that chore in.
And before the play, Chris, a timeout called by Reagan. The Raiders were shuffling personnel on and off the field. As we go back now and take a look at the last play where Wilson just carried men with him. Look at this.
Again, for a 180-pound running back, he has a lot of fight. And, you know, a lot of that is physical talent. I mean, God-gifted talent. But that's a lot of hours in the weight room. You know, they've got a great weight complex, a great weight program here at West Forsyth. And a lot of that is just stuff that power that has earned in January, February, March, and April. I mean, that's a lot of hard work in the weight room that's paying off now that it's football season.
13 carries, 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Wilson tonight. Impressive stuff.
Yeah, you can just see him right there, and he don't even look tired. I swear, he is an athlete. You can just tell he's got. You can see the eyes right there in the huddle. He is zoned in. He is ready to go.
And Chris, when you choose Ortho Carolina, you're choosing a nationally recognized leader in orthopedic care. Visit one of their 5 area locations for all of your orthopedic needs. Ortho Carolina, you improve. Second down in the yard from just outside the 5-yard line.
Pretty high probability they're going to hand it off to number 1 right here.
Yeah, better than 50-50, I would think. Especially when he can start downhill like he is now from the pistol. It's Wilson, and he has the first down as he gets down inside the 5. So it is a Crescent Ford of High Point first down, but Wilson denied the end zone on that carry.
Yeah, I mean, that Reagan defense, they really clamped down and, you know, swarmed the front. They crashed down in, and there you see them right there. Let me take a look at it right here. You see Wilson coming through and trying to see who makes the tackle, and that is Lamar Williams. He's the one who makes first contact.
Weak side linebacker. It's now 1st and goal for West, trying to regain the lead. Wilson cuts it upfield and down at the 2.
And that's a very strong effort by that Reagan defense. You know, they run that 4-2, kind of 4-2, 4-2-5 look, and lateral quickness they have. They were able to get over there really quickly between Revel and Brandon and some of those defensive guys.
Wilson again has a hat trick, his 3rd score of the night. And it's West back in front. A United Rentals touchdown for Wilson and West Forsyth. United Rentals, America's leading equipment rental provider, and the Triad's local source for all your construction equipment and tool rental needs.
Well, you know, I want to keep singing their praises all night. I know it's Wilson that's in with his 3rd score, but look at the hole made clear by the offensive lineman. That was Carter Marzano right there that kind of cleared the way for that touchdown. I think I may have been able to run through that hole, and I'm slow.
Well, let's not get carried away, partner. 3rd score for Wilson. They've all been on the ground as he takes a much-needed breather, and the extra point is good on the other side to make it a 21-14 lead for West. And we will take a timeout midway through this 2nd quarter. It's a 21-14 lead for West Forsyth. More coming up after this on the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivalry. (21-14) West Forsyth, 9:43 to go. 2nd quarter. Chris Edwards, Chris Hughes, Ryan Stone, the rest of our club and crew with you from Peoples Stadium. Been a boring game tonight.
Yeah, if you like offense, it really is. Now, if you're one of those football purists that likes a 3-0 ball game, you probably turn to the wrong channel. But I don't think anybody's going to complain about this one. There you see that offense. You can see Sean Joyce kind of right there directing traffic. You can see him with the headset. Yeah, and he was the head football coach at East Gaston, playing quarterback at Surrey Central along with Coach Adrian Snow. Both of them came from Surrey Central when Snow was the head coach there. So a lot of mileage together, 2 really good friends and 2 really good coaches.
Reagan down 7, gets the football back. Moyer on the return, follows his blockers. And wrangled out of bounds at the 37. First return for Moyer tonight. You know, he's a big key to this Reagan offense, Chris, but he's also been hampered by an ankle injury really all season long. And Reagan has been careful with the way they have used him, especially the last couple of weeks.
Well, they have, and if you were to look at some of the film of Reagan coming into this game, Coach McGee has really shook things up in the way that he schemes the offense. So you've got receivers in the slot getting carries. You've got different running backs coming out there. Obviously, we've seen Hollingsworth and his ability to run the ball. He's done a lot of different things. You can call it smoke and mirrors or whatever to kind of mix up this offense.
I think Coach McGee called it eye candy earlier this week. Moyer on the Wildcat wants to keep it. There's a flag for probably a hold. Moyer gets a couple of yards, but that's most likely coming back on the 4th penalty of the night on the Raiders. And before we address the penalty, let's go back to that eye candy that Coach McGee called. First, we'll look at the replay.
Yeah, there you see him just cutting out, and you can kind of see there definitely the hold right there, and it had a lot to do with the tackle.
But because they are able to scheme up some new things and have the eye candy, it's because their offensive line is playing at a high level, isn't it?
Yeah, when you've got an offensive line the size of the guys that they've got and as experienced as they are, that affords you the opportunity to kind of get a little cute and scheme things a certain way and move plays here, move there, because you know that you've got the big guys up front that can move guys out of the way.
And we talk positive about the offensive line after they get the holding penalty. I realize there's some irony there. We go down to the field and say hi again to Ryan.
Yeah, guys, after that last West Forsyth touchdown, the Reagan coaching staff obviously very frustrated, but choosing to stay positive with their guys on the sideline. Their message was, that's all right, they're not going to stop us either. So we'll see what the offense does on this drive, guys.
Might be like when you're playing your buddy in Madden, and the first one to not score on the drive is going to lose the game.
Yeah, that's kind of a game like this, and Ryan's absolutely correct in those coaches' assessment because they're a veteran coaching staff. They know that they're in it.
Hollingsworth. Deep ball, looking for Ravel, incomplete. Ravel wanted a flag, didn't get it. You know, the 6'3 senior actually caught the game-winning touchdown pass against East Forsyth last week, a 26-yard reception to beat East Forsyth for the first time in Reagan history, but those two could not connect, and it's 2nd down and 15.
Great coverage, though, by James Gordon. That's the second time that he's really climbed the ladder to go up there and break up a pass. Great coverage by him, but I like the shot down the field. I like going for it. I like the aggressive play call because that's what's going to keep this aggressive defense and this strong defensive line. To kind of mention that in the keys of the game, going to kind of keep them off balance and keep them at bay, and that's what's going to open up other parts of your offense later on in the game.
Brings up 2nd down and long. 3 minutes gone, 2nd stanza, and a timeout called by Reagan. It's the 2nd timeout that Coach McGee and his squad have used in this first half, and we'll keep it right here. I'll remind you that My 48 is the place for fun. Don't miss the Big Bang Theory highlights at 7, or weeknights at 7 right here on My 48. That's Big Bang Theory weeknights at 7 on My 48. And coming up at halftime, we'll have our Omega Sports halftime report, which will include this week's Scholar Athletes, principal interviews, highlights, and so much more. Shop Omega Sports, offering a wide variety of sporting clothes, apparel, and accessories. Play like a pro with Omega Sports. Let's go inside the huddles now, Chris. We'll start with Reagan facing a 2nd down and very long. What is Coach McGee telling his club?
2nd down and long, you're probably going to see an RPO. You're probably going to see Hollingsworth have the ball. Anytime you get a 3rd and long, you know, I go back to the old school. You run some kind of a sprint draw just to try to catch the defense sleeping, set up a 3rd down in a little bit more medium range. I would not be surprised to see some kind of motion, maybe some flow to try to get the defense to go with him and see Hollingsworth kind of take it either midline or off tackle.
What's the big adjustment that you'd like to see the West Forsyth defense make?
I really think they're playing well. You know, they're aggressive. They're coming off the line of scrimmage very well. They're dominating up front like we thought they would. It's just really, it's not that West is doing anything wrong. John McIntosh, the defensive coordinator, there you see him right there with the beard. You know, he's calling a great game. It's just Reagan's made some plays.
Both sides have made some plays.
Yeah, I mean, that's all it is. This is a great high school football game. And when you get rivalries of this magnitude playing, sometimes the average player does unaverage things. They just step up and play at a different level.
2nd down, 19. Low snap and whistles. There's a flag before. It's a false start called against Reagan. So this drive going backwards for Josh McGee and his club.
You talked about the first team to get stopped. This might be the drive that we see Reagan forced to punt the ball. And when they're swapping scores the way they're doing, Coach McGee knows that he cannot afford to get behind. So I don't know if that's going to maybe get him a little bit more aggressive in this play call or not.
But I mean, to that.
But being second down, you still don't have to get it all back.
But to that point, I mean, he's pretty pleased with the way his punting staff, his punting unit has been working as well. By the way, there was a sideline warning called against Reagan, I believe. Both teams have got to hire new get-back coaches. There's Coach McGee. That's the job I want, just to be a get-back coach for somebody.
You know, I coached a long time, and I felt like I was the get-back coach for a long time because I was always the youngest guy on the staff.
That wouldn't be the case anymore, would it, partner?
No, but I've been out of the game for 10 years. I'd be the inexperienced guy.
That's a good point. Hollingsworth with pressure in his face. A wounded duck pass that's complete. And sprinting ahead is Dylan Reed out across the 35-yard line. Reed with his first catch of the night, his 5th of the season.
A good play call. You go pick up 7 or 8 yards, that's fine. You don't have to pick it all up in one pass. Let's take a look at it right there. And there you can see, you know, a little bit of a wounded duck pass, but nonetheless complete. It didn't go to the other team, and you're able to pick up positive yards.
Doesn't matter how pretty it is, right, as long as it's effective.
It doesn't. And Dylan Reed, you know, that was probably, I think that's his 6th reception on the year. I mean, he is a steady receiver. You know, he doesn't have the big numbers, but sometimes when you got that 3rd or 4th guy on the chart, they can kind of be the guy to pick up those underneath yards.
Reagan, 2 of 3 on 3rd down tonight, and Woods slips down in the backfield, and he will be stopped for no gain. I think the turf monster came up and got him that time.
Well, the turf monster may have got him, but the defense for West kind of crashed in on there and took care of the rest of it, bringing up this 4th down penalty. You know, I don't mind punting in this situation because I still kind of live in the philosophy that I think the punt is still the best play in high school football. Let's just take a look at it right there. A little bit of razzle-dazzle right there, and yeah, he just kind of lost his footing.
And you can see the frustration on the face of Woods there as C.J. Hill trots on to punt. His 2nd punt of the night. Another booming kick. And takes a fortuitous Reagan bounce. Then is scooped up by Williams. And Williams tried to make a play, is swarmed under. And West Forsyth will get the football back. And now a word from one of our sponsors, the Marine Corps.
Hi, I'm Staff Sergeant Henry with the United States Marines. Becoming a Marine requires the ability to meet the highest standards of moral, mental, and physical strength. For over 240 years, Marines have been winning battles. They win our nation's battles, and they win the battles to improve our communities. They win battles within to earn the title of Marine. In all battles, their most valuable weapon has never been a rifle, a battle strategy, or a piece of equipment. Their best weapon has been their fighting spirit, a willingness to engage and a determination to defeat all enemies, figurative or literal. It's in every Marine who's ever served, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, all the way to the streets of North Carolina, USA. If interested, visit your local Marine Corps recruiter or Marines.com at Haynes Mall in Winston-Salem to learn more and find out if you have what it takes to earn the title. We don't accept applications, only commitments. The few, the proud Marines.
Thank you to the United States Marine Corps. You don't join the Marines, you become one. Contact a recruiter today, and you see the delay of game infraction on West Forsyth. That is the 2nd penalty of the night on the Titans, and both drives for both teams in the last couple minutes have started in reverse.
They have, and this is a crucial drive, maybe the biggest drive of the game, especially for this defense of Reagan. They need to find a way to get Wilson and this West offense sidetracked.
Wilson will get the carry and get a couple. 2nd down.
Well, that's a good start by this defense. He's not still running, so that's a really good start by this defense. But again, we talked about West basically being able to score just about on every possession. Now kind of finding themselves unable to convert on this pass drive. It is more crucial than ever that this defense kind of bucks up and makes a stand for Reagan.
2nd down and long. Reagan crowds the box. Ferguson keeps it and cannot get away from the first man through. Good defensive play, and that's Trevor Willard. The first time we have called his name. Coach McGee for Reagan said Willard is the best kept secret in the triad. Chris, he's the heart and soul of this defense.
He certainly is. He's a big 6'5", 230-pound senior. And take a look at him right there. When he gets those big paws on you, you're not getting away from him. And you're right, at the defensive end, he has got a very quick first step. He's got a very strong upper body, as you could see from that grasp right there. And he's right. I could see him really project to an even better role on this team and at the next level in college.
Offers from West Point, North Carolina A&T, Holy Cross, and Richmond. On third down, Ferguson stands in, and incomplete pass, trying to target C.J. Graham. Just the second third down that West does not convert, and it's a 3 and out. The Reagan defense does its job.
This is just what the doctor ordered for Reagan. Richard Burton, the defensive coordinator, really dialed up a good defense, and you can see the pressure coming from around the edge. Great defensive effort right here by the Raiders, because again, the way the Titans have been scoring and running the ball pretty much at will, you had to come up with something. You don't want to find a way going in the half down by 2 touchdowns.
Nearly halfway through the game's second stanza, Jake Hill comes on to punt, and it does appear Reagan is going to bring a rush. Woods is back deep, rush is on, and the kick is away. And a kick that will result in really good field position for Reagan. They will start on the plus side of the 50 near the West Forsyth 40-yard line, and that is just what the doctor ordered for this offense.
I was about to say before the punt came that Reagan has blocked 2 punts already and 2 field goals coming into this game. So they're exceptionally well coached on the special team side of the ball. So I was not surprised to see that pressure coming in. And now because of it, and let's take a look at it. I think he may have even got a piece of it now that I'm taking a look at it. And
it's tough to tell.
Hard to tell, but a lot of great effort.
Hollingsworth will start on the ground. It's Moyer who fights ahead, and Moyer gets down to the 31-yard line. It'll be a Crescent Ford of High Point first down with a wide selection of SUVs. Crescent Ford of High Point has the perfect one for your team, and they'll actually mark him just short, so it'll be second down in the yard.
Well, I thought he had it. I mean, Moyer kind of cut the corner right there and looked like he was off to the races for a second. He has a very fast first step, was able to gain a lot of ground, very elusive, very quick back. 182 pounds, 5'8", 182 pounds. That's a lot of punch in a small package.
Yes, it is. So second down in less than a yard. Hollingsworth floats one that's off the hands of Revel, incomplete. Might have been one of those cases where he tried to run before he had the ball.
Yeah, and it was a higher. It was a floater. That was perfect word right there. Third down and short, though, it doesn't matter. And you're in 4-down territory. Come back. Reset, let's do it again. At this point of the game, as long as it doesn't end up in the hands of the other team, you know, chalk it up to experience. There you see McGee, and he's just trying to let his players know, like, hey, no problem, let's just do it again, kind of keep them composed.
Third down in the yard. Pressure off the edge, ball is bobbled, and man, the physical running of Hollingsworth might have achieved the first down to the 30-yard line. They will move the chains, I believe.
Well, if they do, it's all because of him, because that play should have been about a 4-yard loss.
And they're going to mark him short. Here's the replay.
Yeah, you look at it right there. Wow. And you see C.J. McCullough coming around that end. He was ready to tackle him and come away with another sack on his total for the year. And that was just all Hollingsworth. I mean, what an effort.
And I think they're going to ask for a measurement, I believe.
Well, it doesn't matter. Fourth down, whatever, you've got to go for it right here.
Would be a 47-yard field goal try from here. And this will be our second measurement of this first half.
I know that Coach McGee's very comfortable inside about 40, 42 yards. I don't know that this is a situation, though, where you really need to try to kick it. Now, that's close. That is really close. Notice I didn't call
it. Quarter of an inch? Eighth of an inch?
Maybe.
Eighth of an inch, maybe? This is one where you just go under center,
well,
right?
you've got Gabriel Hollingsworth again. He's 6'3", 210 pounds. He's a big, tall, physical player, very strong. You just get under center, you take the snap, and you just get in there and you get the first down, move the chains, and go on about your business.
I'm interested, though, because this is an offense for Reagan that does operate from the shotgun so much. Sometimes maybe you go under center, it changes up the center quarterback exchange.
It does, and you can see Coach McGee kind of giving them some last-minute instruction, kind of coaching them up. Might see some kind of motion right here just to see if the defense adjusts. Let's see if they trade to tight end. Okay, we do have some motion.
And it's Hollingsworth who has the first down inside the 30. Another strong run by Hollingsworth, and a Crescent Fort of High Point first down. Crescent Fort of High Point serving the Triad since 1970.
What a player.
Just physical football there.
He is just a gamer, a great athlete, obviously a very smart, very heady player. Knew what he needed, threw his body in there, moved the chains.
Reagan coach Josh McGee called him a coach on the field. Allows our offense to be more diverse. And you could just tell, talking to Coach McGee from Reagan this week, how much he has enjoyed coaching Gabriel Hollingsworth for 4 years and how much he's going to miss him when this season comes to a close. Slant pattern to Revel, makes the catch, eludes 2 defenders, still on his feet, and upended inside the 10-yard line. Another good catch by Siobhan Revel, and a first down, a Crescent Fort of High Point first down.
Yeah, he's a big, tall, 6'3" receiver. Let's see him right here kind of come out of that slant pattern, gives Hollingsworth a big target to throw to, and he just does all this on his own. Talk about run after the catch. He did all of that on his own to set him up in 1st and goal. That's a big-time play and a big moment.
Remember, we told you earlier he had the touchdown catch against East Forsyth to win the game a week ago. Has made a big catch here tonight. Play clock down to 10 on 1st and goal for Reagan. Toss to Moyer. Stiff arms a defender and gains 2 yards.
Yeah, that West defense is so quick laterally. Just really nowhere to go right there. That's Jake Hill, the safety. He's a 5'11", 170-pound junior that was just over there really quick. And when you've got a defense that's this quick sideline to sideline that covers so much ground, it's hard to kind of get that outside leverage. See it again right here. See the toss and look at number 19 come in your screen, and it was just no escaping Hill.
44th tackle of the season for the junior. And now 2nd down and goal. Hollingsworth tonight, 4 of 8 through the air for 59 yards. His 5th carry of the night. We'll add a couple of more as Hollingsworth approaches 50 yards on the ground this evening. It's 3rd and goal.
That looked a little bit like a bowling ball right there. He just took the snap and took off running and just hit those linemen. And he was kind of like a bowling ball kind of coming off those pins. But you can see him, see those legs right there. He's a very physical looking player.
Reagan 2 of 5 on 3rd down tonight. Is this 4-down territory inside the 10-yard line?
I don't know if it is. I'm not so sure. I wouldn't want to come away with some kind of points right here. I think you do kick it.
And keep in mind, Reagan does get the ball to start the second half. Hollingsworth under center. 2 on the play clock. And the final timeout of the half will be utilized by Josh McGee.
Not a bad timeout. Get over here. Now he's not happy about it, and you can see it right there. He's going to have some words for his offense right there because I think he felt like he had a mismatch in his alignment. You could see that he saw something and wanted to hurry up and get that snap off.
A guy that told us this week, Coach McGee said, you know, I place a high value on who plays the quarterback in my offense, and that's because Coach McGee was a really good quarterback, not only here at West, but went down the street to Winston-Salem State and still holds many of the career passing records for the Rams.
He does, and I remember coaching against these West teams back in that 99, 2000, 2001 seasons when he was a really good quarterback here for Coach Russell Stone. I went later on to work with Coach Stone later on in my career, but you know, I know Coach Stone really thinks fondly of the time that McGee spent here because he was a phenomenal quarterback, and because he was at such a high level, he expects the same level from his quarterbacks.
And he's getting it from Gabe Hollingsworth over his 4 years. Now it's 3rd down and goal. Timeout is over. Hollingsworth still under center. Moyer in motion. Revel in motion. Fumbled by Revel, picks it back up, and is swarmed under. And there's a flag down as well. Coach Snow is not happy, and that might be in the area of a face mask or a horse collar.
I think it is. I mean, you could definitely see the hand grab either the helmet, and you can see the official on that side kind of movement. Looks like the helmet. And there you see Coach Snow, and he's definitely fired up. And whether he knows it's right or wrong, he's got to show his players that he's got their back. So I don't mind that at all. Let's look at it right here. And it all starts with the little drop ball.
Yeah, there's nothing malicious about it, but by the letter of the law, I think that is a foul.
Well, by the letter of the law, I don't know if he actually grabbed the back of the collar, the shoulder pads. I mean, kind of looking at it, I think Coach Snow has an argument right there. He just kind of touched his neck.
Well, now it's 3rd and goal from the 5. Half the distance penalty. And straight ahead, Hollingsworth will be thrown down at the 4. Woods, I beg your pardon, is brought down. And a little bit of extracurricular activity. Things starting to heat up a little bit.
Yeah, Pat Smith right there. He is an immovable object. You know, he was not going anywhere. Came in there. He had 3 sacks. Well, that might not have been a sack right there, but it was a big body that was really clogging up that hole and prevented it from coming in there. And Will Knight kind of came in and finished things up. I think we're going to see a kick, though, 4th down. I know I would try to go for points.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Hill who will come on and try the 20-yard field goal try. Ball is in the center of the field. Snow was trying to call a timeout, and it's blocked.
Wow, and that was Pat Smith, the big guy.
And I'm sure that Coach Snow pretty happy he didn't get that timeout call now.
Wow, but what can you say about Pat Smith? I hope we get a chance to look at this because that was a superb physical effort by the big guy. You don't see guys that big come out of the snap like that. Let's just look at it right there. Oh. Wow, what? That, you know, every big guy in the world is going to look at him as his idol because that was the biggest play in the world. I mean, Pat Smith, talk about the big play at the big moment. Huge play.
6'5", 350. And the West defense holds. And we'll see how Coach Snow wants to play the final 49 seconds of the half. And he will be backed up half the distance. It's a flag. It'll be a delay of game penalty on West Forsyth. And before they get ready to snap it on 1st down, let's go back and take one more look at this block kick from Pat Smith coming right into your living room.
Pat Smith came unblocked right up the middle.
How do you not block him?
I don't want to block him. Do you?
No.
I mean, look at that big guy lumbering through there. I mean, you want to talk about some athleticism for a big guy. He'll remember that play the rest of his life.
Hopefully for his sake. He's a senior. Hopefully he's got a few more games left in him in his career. Here at West Forsyth, I imagine some offers at the next level as well. Wilson, who can break one at any time, is upended at the 14-yard line. And we will see how West wants to play the rest of the half. Remember, Reagan does get the ball to start the 3rd quarter.
We'll see some tempo right there, and you see Wilson kind of hobbling off. That may change how Coach Snow attacks this last 28 seconds.
So like maybe just cramping up. He will get attended to on the sideline. It's Dillard who comes in and gets the carry now. And Dillard with a flag down is stopped a yard shy, but we'll check on the marker. Here's the replay of the last run, and we'll see if we can pick up any sort of injury to Wilson. Might
just a hard hit coming down. You can see him looking at his right knee, though. You certainly gasp anytime you see your best player grab his right knee, but he was able to get on his own power.
Was a personal foul face mask against Reagan, so they'll tack on 15 yards. Reagan penalized again. That's 6 penalties this half.
Although I see Wilson on the sideline waiting to get back in, so I think he'll be okay. I think it was just a hard hit.
Maybe just a Charlie horse a little bit. I imagine that you're going to see West perhaps keep him on the sideline for the final 15 seconds. And feeling like the Titans, well, they may try to run a play here with 10 seconds left.
I think you go deep the way this Reagan defense is kind of cheating up. Maybe not.
Play action. Looking for the deep ball. Jarvis. Oh, it's off his fingertips. Incomplete. Still 2 seconds left.
You know, I saw that defense coming in, and I could just see it right there. I'm thinking to myself, you know, if I'm still an offensive coordinator up high in the booth and I see that coverage, why not go deep? You got nothing to really lose.
Do it again?
No, I think coming back here 2 seconds, I think you go run the ball.
Okay.
Or some kind of a screen pass right here.
Kennedy in motion. It's Dillard upended at the 36. And that'll truncate the first half from Jerry Peoples Stadium. And there's a late flag, so let's hold the phone. Maybe a little jawing back and forth. Looks like John Gillette for Reagan was involved.
Yes. You could see some frustration from the Reagan lineman right there. And you can see Coach Snow right there trying to keep his.
And keep his staff in,
yes,
coaching staff a little bit too. And that's going to end the half. Here's the replay. This penalty might be tacked on to the kickoff to start the third quarter.
I don't think the penalty came until after. And there you can see it right there.
Yeah.
You can see the fighting right there.
Lamar
Williams.
And Owen Brown, too, for West Forsyth on the offensive line. Number 70 in gold, number 6 in white. And that's sort of where it all transpired. And
yeah, and you can see out there in the field, you can see Coach McGee, he's having some words with the officials at midfield, and you can see Coach Snow coming up there as well. So, you know, a game this magnitude, this big, you can see the emotions kind of bowling over. I know both of these men very well, and I can tell that they're pretty upset.
And as Coach McGee gets an explanation, Coach Snow's going to get in position. He's going to chat with Ryan as we go down to the field, and Ryan, who's got Coach Snow. Ryan?
Coach, what did you think of the way your team played in the first half with that 7-point lead?
We have played with a lot of fire and a lot of tenacity. Proud of them. We got a lot of football left to play.
What do you think your team's got to do better in the second half to finish this thing off?
We're going to have to score more than they do. That's it. But we'll get out there and do the best we can.
Things getting a little heated there before you guys head to the locker room.
It's a great rivalry. That's the way it happens. It's something. It ain't like two math classes getting together. So at the end of the day, we got to be ready to play.
Absolutely. Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you, guys.
Chris, back to you.
All right, Ryan, thanks. Math class not being played here tonight. Some physical football between these two longtime rivals. It's a 7-point lead for West Forsyth here at the break. Jamon Wilson for the big first half, 3 rushing scores, and we will have the Omega Sports halftime report for you coming up on the other side of this timeout. This is the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals presented by Cap-Ed Test Prep, and West enjoys a 7-point lead at the break.
Throughout the 2019 Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals season, your local Bojangles will recognize an exceptional senior student athlete from each participating school with a plaque presentation prior to each game. West Forsyth High School, Slade Garrity. West Forsyth Slade Garrity is on the varsity football team and on the men's golf team. He was named All-Conference in football the last 2 years and serves as a team chaplain for the Titans. Slade holds a 4.375 GPA and spends his free time volunteering at his church and tutoring students after school. And from Reagan High School, Emily Hatcher. Reagan's Emily Hatcher is on the varsity volleyball team and the varsity softball team. She is a member of the Carolina Cardinals travel softball team and a member of the Champion Volleyball Club. Emily is also a member of the Reagan Spirit Club and holds a 3.9 GPA. Slade, Emily, and other nominated students are also eligible to win a $5,000 scholarship to be presented at the end of the season, courtesy of Bojangles. Bojangles proudly gives back to our community and is honored to be the sponsor of Friday Night Rivals Scholar Athlete Award.
Welcome back to the Omega Sports halftime report here at West Forsyth High School, where West leading on senior night 21-14. Let's take a moment to listen in to the award-winning West Forsyth marching band. Well, while we wait on the band to get ready as they continue their senior night festivities, we'll go down to the field and say hi again to Ryan Stone. Ryan?
Yeah, Chris, joined now by Reagan High School principal, Mr. Brad Royal. You know, obviously it's the middle of the fall sports season. How's that been going for Reagan so far?
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations to all the seniors that are being recognized tonight at West Forsyth. Certainly what a wonderful contribution those kids have had to not just West Forsyth, but the whole community of Clemens. Fall season's been a great season for us at Reagan. Our girls golf team went undefeated and finished 6th in the state, so had a tremendous season. Our tennis team went undefeated, man. I mean, what a wonderful season for our tennis team. Got knocked out last week in the 3rd round of the state playoffs. Volleyball went to the 2nd round of the state playoffs. Cross country was great this year. Soccer's been doing great. You know, you're watching a wonderful football game tonight between two very, very good teams. So the fall's just been a wonderful start of the school year. Lots of school spirit. Community's very excited about everything that's going on in Pofftown.
Yeah, certainly a lot going on, like you said. Speaking of Pofftown, we hear the students over there, or the fans over there chanting, "We are Pofftown." What does that mean exactly?
So, you know, our kids really get into this whole idea about, you know, our community, you know, and it's a big thing. Our community's kind of bought into this idea of just coming around the school and rallying behind us. And so it's something we started about 4 years ago. It's just a chant that we have about "We are Pofftown," and not that every kid lives necessarily in Pofftown, but the school's in Pofftown. And so we have just tremendous business partners and just a tremendous community that supports our school. Our kids get into it. Like I said, even the businesses around us. You know, we have a gas station right next to us that, you know, they have a gas pump there that's completely wrapped in Raider attire that says, you know, "We are Pofftown." So it's just a great thing going on, man.
I know we read something recently about the academic growth at Reagan. How has the school grown academically?
So our growth this year at Reagan is measured basically about how kids are expected to do based off of how they've done in the past. So it's sort of a history of their scores. I mean, I'm so excited to tell you that the growth at Reagan High School this year was not just the highest growth in all of Forsyth County. It was the highest growth of every high school in the state of North Carolina. So our kids are working so hard in the classroom and just giving it their best effort. But our staff is just amazing, man. They're relentless. They push our kids to be their absolute best. They set very high expectations, and our kids rise to that. And none of that would be possible also without the support of our parents. So just excited about the things that are going on, you know, not just out here in the athletic world, but also what's going on in the classroom as well.
Absolutely. Well, keep up the great work and enjoy the second half of this great game. Again, that's Brad Royal, the principal at Reagan High School. Back to you in the booth, Chris.
All right, Ryan, thanks so much. Thanks, Principal Royal. Let's take a few minutes now on the Omega Sports halftime report to listen in to the award-winning West Forsyth marching band. That is the award-winning marching band for West Forsyth High School. Band doing great things on the field right now. Football team for the Titans also leading. More of the Omega Sports halftime report after this on My 48.
Back into the Omega Sports halftime report. Ryan Stone here with you. The score at halftime, West Forsyth leading Reagan 21-14. Speaking of West Forsyth, joined now by Athletic Director Mike Pennington. Obviously, we're in, towards the end of the fall sports season now. How has the fall sports season been going for the Titans?
We've had a heck of a fall. We have 8 sports that our conference offers, and we've already won 4 conference championships. We won men's and women's cross country. We've won field hockey and volleyball, and then football. We're tied with Reagan and a couple other teams, so we got a chance to win 5 conference championships. Our volleyball team will play tomorrow in the state quarterfinals at home, and then field hockey made it to the state semifinals. So we've had a heck of a fall, and it's not over yet. So.
Yeah, certainly true. You mentioned you guys obviously may be competing for more of these this year, but you guys have won a number of state championships over the last few years. Just kind of remind our viewers about some of those.
Yeah, that's really fun. That's obviously the highlight of high school. We won 7 since 2014, 17 championships. We've had several individual. Our first one with 2014 was baseball. I think I'm okay to say that was my favorite one since my son played on the team, my son Matthew. And then we won 2 wrestling, our softball team, men's track, softball, and then women's basketball last spring. And we think we've got some coaches, or last winter rather, we think we got some teams that have a chance to win another one. And that's just really fun to see those kids achieve what's lifetime goals for them.
You rattled all those off the top of your head too. You didn't even have a paper you were reading off of or anything. But obviously, when you have a school this size, community involvement's a big deal too. So how important is the community involvement for you guys?
Well, it's very important. You talk about rattling off the teams. We like to win. We enjoy winning. So those are easy to remember. We're very fortunate to be in Clemens and to be the only high school in Clemens. And schools in our area, I think, sometimes struggle to have the community school aspect that maybe a school in a small town does, but we think we have that. Clemens is very supportive of us. We have volunteers. We have some guys in the chain crew tonight that are volunteering in concessions. They help proctor exams and do a lot of things academics. Our clubs partner with many Clemens organizations, and then we have several business sponsors from Clemens that have supported us with thousands of dollars, and we work very hard to upgrade our athletic facilities over the year, and we're very proud of our facilities, and our corporate sponsors in Clemens and in Winston-Salem are a big part of that.
Yeah, certainly great facilities here, no question about that. Again, that's West Forsyth Athletic Director Mike Pennington. Again, the score at halftime, West Forsyth leading Reagan 21-14. We'll be back with more on the Omega Sports Halftime Report after this. You're watching the Omega Sports Halftime Report. Ryan Stone here at West Forsyth. West Forsyth leading Reagan at halftime, 21-14. Joined now by another special guest, Dr. William Craig III, a physician at Ortho Carolina, who is, of course, our naming rights sponsor. Why do you feel like participation in high school sports or being on a sports team in general is good for kids and teens?
Well, Kyle, I think there are lots of reasons sports are beneficial. I mean, beyond the obvious, which is the health benefits of being active and participating in sports. There's things like learning teamwork, learning how to deal with adversity, learning how to manage time between sports and school and family. All those things are vital and really taught in a large degree through participation in sports.
That's certainly true. If kids are interested in one particular sport, is there any tips or anything that they should follow to try to avoid injury when it comes to practice and things like that?
Yeah, I think there are a couple things. One is taking time to rest. I think it's important that young athletes who are involved in one particular sport do take the time to rest between seasons to let their bodies recover. And then cross training is vital for anybody who's doing one thing continually. To train differently really helps prevent injury and promotes and improves performance.
So what drew you originally to medicine and to the medical side of sports?
I think just the opportunity to help people. In particular in sports medicine, we have the opportunity to help people achieve their activity-related goals, whether it be high school athletes, middle school athletes, or just weekend athletes, and it's a lot of fun and a great feeling.
Yeah, certainly true. Again, that's Dr. William Craig, the third physician at Ortho Carolina. Enjoy the rest of the second half, and hopefully you guys will be able to help out some more of these kids sometime soon.
Thank you.
Again, that was Dr. William Craig from Ortho Carolina. We're watching the Omega Sports Halftime Report. It is 21-17 at halftime. We'll be back with more after this.
Omega Sports is a neighborhood sports store, and that means knowing your community, being a part of the fellowship of your community, and making your community successful in their goals. Local shoppers can find anything from their athletic needs to running shoes to winter apparel to Carolina Panthers gear, just anything they would need to have a good time. We can help athletes by our personal knowledge of each sport, training that we provide for our employees, and just knowledge. People should choose Omega Sports for the community service that we provide, for the knowledge that we train, and for the actual product that we have.
That was a message from Omega Sports, our halftime report sponsor. Shop Omega Sports, featuring a wide variety of sporting clothes, apparel, and accessories for men, women, and children. Play like a pro with Omega Sports. 21-14 the lead for West Forsyth at the break. Let's go back and take a look at how he arrived at this 21-14 score. The first touchdown of the night, one of 3 for Jamani Wilson, a 55-yard score to start the night as he celebrates in the end zone with one of his teammates following the score. Then the very next play, very next drive, it's Taze Woods who scampers 90 yards for his 3rd rushing score of the season. That made it 7-all. And then Wilson in for the 2nd time tonight to make it 14-7 in favor of West. More love from the students on a chilly night. And then how about Hollingsworth on a 3rd and 10 play, muscling his way to the end zone, his 7th rushing touchdown of the season. And then as Hollingsworth celebrates with his team, it's Wilson again for the hat trick, his 3rd score of the first half. And that's how we arrive at this 21-14 lead at the break. And now taking a look, Chris Hughes, at the first half stats, pretty even numbers. But for me, the one thing that jumps out, and I'm sure it is for you, the 7 penalties for Reagan in the first half.
Yeah, those 7 penalties really hurt the Raiders. You're right, fairly even across the board. Nothing major jumps out. That 189 yards rushing for West Forsyth. I think that might be a little bit backwards, but 189 yards rushing for West Forsyth, most of that Jamani Wilson on the ground. You know, in pregame, we mentioned our keys to the game. We talked about Jamani Wilson and just how strong he was going to be, how he's going to be coming into the game, and he certainly has showed us why he is such a highly rated player. And, of course, Hollingsworth, what can you say about him? He's a tough player.
We welcome you into our broadcast booth now, Chris Edwards, Chris Hughes, and the rest of our team. What's the big takeaway for you in this first half?
It's a rivalry game. Coach Snow said it. It's a rivalry game. You got 2 teams out here really playing hard. They're laying it all out there. It's emotional. One play, one mistake could be the difference in this game moving forward, but I think you're going to see them out there playing really hard.
Well, let's go down to the field now and join Ryan, who's standing by with Coach Josh McGee. Ryan?
Hey, Coach, first half, obviously you guys down 21-14. What do you think maybe kind of went wrong a little bit for you guys in the first half?
I thought we played a really good half. We did some good things. We know they're a good football team, and but again, we did some good things. We got to clean up some penalties, get rid of those. I think we'll be just fine.
What do you think is going to be the key in the second half if you guys are going to be able to come back and get the win?
We got to score some more points. Defensively, I think we may have found a couple things there late in the half that I think could help us. But we've got to, again, eliminate the penalties, take care of the football, and I think we'll be good.
Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Chris?
All right, Ryan, thanks so much. This has been the Omega Sports Halftime Report, brought to you by Omega Sports, featuring a wide variety of sporting clothes, apparel, and accessories for men, women, and children. Play like a pro with Omega Sports. As we get set to start the 3rd stanza of play, Reagan does get the football to start the 3rd quarter. And I know we sound like a broken record every week when we say this, but tonight especially, in a game that was so back and forth in the first half, maybe this opening drive of the 3rd quarter is going to tell us a lot about the way the game is going to play out.
I think the opening drive of the 3rd quarter is always the most crucial drive in any football game, especially in a close football game. I know going back to my own coaching days, I wanted to defer to the second half so I could get the ball coming out of the break, so I could kind of set the momentum coming out.
Maybe some important decisions to be made for the coaches coming up in the second half. And we could have our Boost Mobile call of the game coming up sometime in the 3rd or 4th quarter. Boost Mobile gives you everything you could ever want in a wireless carrier. And I imagine we will see some interesting calls and some tough decisions for our 2 head coaches moving ahead.
But, you know, I've got to echo what Coach Josh McGee said. They have played a really good football team, good football game, but, of course, they've played a good football team as well. But Reagan is really good, too. You don't get to be 8-1 against good teams without being good yourself. Minimize the mistakes, you know, just a big play here, a big break here, you know, minimizing the penalty right there, and they're right back in it. But what can you say about 2 teams like this? I mean, 2 of the best. I think this is the best team or best game in North Carolina tonight, and rivalry game, 2 community schools going right at it. And I just think we're the ones that are really treated to a heck of a ball game.
West Forsyth leading the all-time series 12-3. We mentioned that Reagan won the first-round playoff game here at People's Stadium a season ago. The last, or four of the previous 15 meetings have been decided by 8 points or less. Just tells you how good this rivalry has been, and Reagan trying to win back-to-back games over West for the first time in program history. So a lot on the line, and we also talked in the first half about the conference standings and how big this game is from a conference championship implication. The winner of tonight's game will move to 3-1 in league play, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in our Mayberry's Ice Cream scoop of the game. We'll take a look at that in just a couple of minutes, and we'll illustrate why this game is so important. And the third quarter, the fourth quarter, it's going to be a lot of good football.
And you know, this rivalry really took a step forward and really heated up when Coach Josh McGee was hired over at Reagan 9 years ago. You know, coming from West, the relationship with Coach Snow, you know, it really become a great rivalry then.
Remember, we had that 15-yard penalty at the end of the first half. That's been assessed on this kickoff. So Shane Jarvis will kick off from the plus 45, and Reagan will have to start from the 20. So that personal foul penalty, and now some extracurricular activity and some pushing, and they're going to catch one of the Reagan players for a push there, and that's going to be 15 yards on Reagan to start the third quarter.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to like that if you're the coaching staff or Coach McGee, and you can see him over there already kind of questioning the officials, wanting some kind of an explanation. We might get a chance to see it right there. And there you can see Coach McGee. He just wants to know what's up. You know, he wants it, trying to read his lips there, but he just wants to know the deal, wants it to be a fair battlefield.
Obviously, somebody said something to provoke the player there.
And typically, it's always the second person who gets penalized.
Our official is conferring, and here comes the call, perhaps. It's a dead ball, personal foul called against Reagan. Let's take another look. And right there.
Yeah, you can't do that. Now, you don't know what was said between those two players, but you can't do that, and you can't get caught doing that right there in front of the official. You know, a game like this, a big game, one or two mistakes can really cost your team.
8th penalty of the night on Reagan, so they will start this drive from the 10 after that 15-yard penalty marched off half the distance. Hollingsworth, as he did for much of the first half, operates from the shotgun. Quick throw, Woods, and then trying to get away from a defender, breaks a tackle, and still on his feet, and only gains a yard. But a play that could have been thrown down in the backfield for a loss ends up as a gain of 1.
You know, right before the break, we talked about how fast Jake Hill, the safety, was sideline to sideline, and in basically preventing a Reagan touchdown or first down late in the first half. He does it again, first play out, really shows some speed going one way to the other to stop that play.
Hollingsworth floats one to the outside. Pass was tipped, but Woods makes the catch, eludes a couple of defenders, and gets out of bounds out across the 30-yard line. It's a Crescent Ford of High Point first down. Test drive the new EcoSport at Crescent Ford and High Point. It's got the things you need to do the things you've always wanted.
Well, we've seen Woods score already on a big play, and he just about broke it loose for another one right there. Huge season, had 27 receptions coming in tonight, and already had a couple big ones tonight, including the touchdown. That's the kind of plays that Coach McGee needs to kind of get some rhythm. We talked about rhythm earlier in the game, just kind of get back in a little bit of rhythm and to move the chains and keep their defense off the field.
Gain of 15 on the 4th catch of the night for Woods. Play action, pick and pop, slant pass over the middle, and another first down for Reagan. This time hauling in the catch was Montrell Jones, a 5'10 sophomore. It's the first catch of the season for Jones, and a Crescent Ford of High Point first down.
Well, Jones, the sophomore, picked a great time to pull in his first catch of the season right there on the slant route. Wide open, picked up a few yards after the catch, get them in positive field position. Big play.
And just a couple of plays, Reagan has flipped the field position now on the right side of the 50. Quarterback draw for Hollingsworth. Looking for a block, a stiff arm, still on his feet, and spun down at the 22. Another physical run for the super senior, Gabriel Hollingsworth.
You know, I mentioned at the top of the show coming in, the keys of the game, how dynamic Hollingsworth is. Had 2,000 yards coming in, both rushing and passing combined, and he showed how strong he is on his feet right there. A little bit of a stiff arm to get some extra yards, and he just finds an extra gear, and he goes. He is a load to bring down.
Gain of 21 for Hollingsworth.
And you can see him directing traffic. You can see what Coach McGee means, a coach on the field.
Empty set. Another draw. And Hollingsworth lowers his head, and he is drugged down by Mac David, the middle linebacker. A gain of 3 for Hollingsworth.
Yeah, Mac David, he is a big linebacker, 5'11", 230 pounds. It was kind of hard. You know, we've seen how physical Hollingsworth can be, but when you get in Mac David's grasp, I don't think you're getting away from that one.
How about the physicality that Reagan has shown on this opening drive of the third quarter?
Well, I mean, you know, you've got to have your players become gritty. You've just got to dig in and realize that this is a ball game, and you've got to match West Forsyth physicality, and they're doing a great job of it so far.
5 on the play clock, play action. Over the middle, again, it's Jones who secures another catch and another Crescent Fortified point first down. It'll be first and goal from the 5, a pickup of 15.
Well, nobody may have known who Montrell Jones was coming into this game because he didn't have any catches, but he certainly has 2 big ones to his credit right now. He is only a sophomore. You know, sometimes in these rivalry games, it's the unsung hero. It's maybe the unsuspected player who you never know is going to step up and do big things on a big stage, and he's doing it right now. 2 back-to-back catches.
Moyer in single coverage at the bottom of your screen for Reagan as they try to knot this one up. Another empty set for Hollingsworth. Moyer, and they fake it to Moyer and give it away to Woods, who's in. It's a 1-point game early in the third quarter. Second score of the night for Woods. And a United Rentals touchdown for Reagan. United Rentals, America's leading equipment rental provider and the Triad's local source for all your construction equipment and tool rental needs. How about this eye candy from Reagan?
You stole the words right out of my mouth. I was about to use some eye candy. You got the little shuffle pass right there on the jet sweep. Right there to Woods for the touchdown. That is a big play.
And the extra point is true for Hill, for Hill, and that will take us to a timeout. Reagan marches down the field and knots this one up at 21 on a physical drive to open the third stanza. More of the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals coming up after this on My 48. (21-21) as we take a look at our Mayberry's ice cream scoop of the game. We were talking about it a few minutes ago, how important this game is in this Central Piedmont Conference with everybody in log jam at 2-1 in league play. 4 teams, West, Reagan, Glenn, and Davie, all 2-1 in league action. East Forsyth lurking at 1-2 in the conference. These 4 teams still battling with this week and next week to go in the regular season, and it's going to be important to see which team takes that next step forward as we go down to the field. And Ryan, who's got more on the mood on the sidelines. Ryan?
Yeah, the mood on the sidelines, when both teams came out, they were obviously both pretty fired up. You saw the words kind of exchanged there before the teams went into the locker room. We talked a little bit with Coach Snow about that. Both these coaches have been working the officials all night, but that Reagan touchdown really boosted the morale on the Reagan sidelines. So it's going to be an interesting second half to watch, Chris.
That was tonight's Mayberry's Ice Cream scoop of the game. Mayberry's Ice Cream, making memories for over 50 years. Can't wait to see how this one finishes up.
I can't. I mean, you're right. Coach Snow said it. These isn't two math classes going at it. This is two hard physical football teams. You can tell they're well coached. They've both worked really hard in the weight room and both physically strong, and we're just treated to a great game.
West will operate now from the 34 after the fair catch. Safe to say that number 1's going to see a lot of action here in this opening drive for the Titans?
Well, I think so, and you already seen the respect that Coach McGee and his special team staff has for Jamani Wilson, because they did not kick that ball anywhere near number 1 on that kickoff. They were willing to sacrifice some field position just to not see him going the other way for 6. But I think you're going to see him, we saw him kind of hobbled with some injury at the end of the second quarter. And now we see him out at the slot, I see already. So we're going to get maybe him in some jet sweep action, or are they going to keep finding a way to get it to him in different places?
Willard gets the call at running back. There is Wilson in motion on the sweep. Looking for the edge. And carries a couple of men with him. Bodies litter the playing surface. I think I saw a flag fly in, but let's wait and see. Willard was in there defensively for Reagan, as we glance at the replay.
And you see Jamani Wilson out there in the slot, and I kind of saw that when they came out of the huddle. Anytime you can get an athlete like him in space, whether it's out of a jet sweep, whether it's passing out of the slot or whatever, you want to try to find different ways to utilize a weapon of his talent.
There was no flag, just a 4-yard, 3-yard gain.
A lot of gold jerseys out there.
Dillard was strung out in the backfield, but keeps the play alive and manages to get a couple of yards. 3rd down and manageable coming up for this West Forsyth offense.
And who was it that was out there doing the blocking for him? Jamani Wilson. You like to see your star player, be unselfish on a play like that. Dillard out there has amazing numbers as well. And to have your star player out there trying to clear a block for him to get some extra yards, and I think that shows that your players really care for one another.
3rd down, 3 to go. West was 5 of 7 on 3rd downs in the game's opening half. And a timeout utilized here by West Forsyth. Didn't like the personnel they had on the field. So Adrian Snow and his Cobb will take a timeout while they talk about it. We'll talk about it up here in the booth. We'll have more from Jerry's Peoples Stadium after this on the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals. (21-21), 8.5 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Coming up in the 4th quarter, stay tuned to find out what our Woods of Terror scary hit of the game will be. Woods of Terror, the Triad's scariest haunted thrill park. Boo, Halloween was last night. They were getting treated to some of those treats that we didn't have last night because of the rain in the area. Wilson gets the call on 3rd and 3 and secures a Crescent 4 to 5 point first down.
Safe to say that the defensive coordinators for Reagan might be having some scary thoughts about Wilson later on tonight. He is running all over him right now. Again, just a tremendous talent. Can't overstate it enough how electric this young man is.
Wilson still maybe on that sugar high from all the candy he had last night. Certainly running with some purpose. And it slips down in the backfield. It was Aguatu that was in the neighborhood defensively for Reagan. He'll get credit with the tackle, but it also looked like Wilson might have slipped down in one of those wet spots. We talk about the rain we had here last night, evident right there.
Yeah, but I don't want to take anything away from Aguatu. Again, big 6'5", 226-pound defensive end. He is a man of a young man. You see him right there, just a big body guy, and he's very quick. Got some agility with his feet, able to move side to side. He's not going to miss many tackles.
Committed to William and Mary as Ferguson flushed from the pocket. spins away from a defender, and now floats one to Wilson, who makes the catch, and then is wrapped up immediately by DJ Moyer, who's out there in coverage for Reagan, and it will be close to a first down. We'll wait on the spot.
Well, I mentioned it earlier with Jalen Ferguson. You know, he is not that quarterback that's going to get 1,000 yards a year from the QB position, but just look at him right there. He makes his read, is progressing. He's got his eye discipline downfield. He's going to turn it around and go the other way, and he's able to get the pass.
Yeah, it was a Crescent Fort of High Point first down as Moyer gets the carry again and picks up 3 to bring up 2nd and 7.
Yeah. Wow, you talk about that offensive line too. I'm just looking at it right there, getting off the ball, really making a lot of this stuff happen. And there you see Wilson kind of running off the field. He might need a breather.
22 carries for 180 yards tonight for Wilson. 3 touchdowns. He has put in the work so far tonight for this Titan offense. Getting a blow here on this 2nd down play. Remember, he came off late in the first half, limping a little bit. Dillard with the handoff. And Dillard gets a couple. It'll be 3rd down.
And again, it just shows you how deep this West backfield is to have another player just like in Zod Dillard come in and kind of be that 1-2 punch. And I love the way these two backs complement one another. When one comes off, the other one can go in there. And you don't have to worry about it when you're Coach Snow and having maybe a back who isn't as good as the other, because Zod Dillard would be a feature back for a lot of teams.
115 carries for 817 yards for Dillard entering action tonight. On the sweep to Nassan Johnson, and Johnson gets brought down, a big hit on the far sideline. And once again, it's Tajay Woods in to make the big hit, and that could be our Woods of scary hit of the game.
Well, it could be, and you know, he has already scored 2 touchdowns on the offensive side. Why not play some defense? And there you see it right there. Let's come in there, and that is a good hit down low as well. There was no escaping that tackle. Now we got a 4th down. Let's see what the Titans are going to do right here.
4th down and 4. West is 0 for 1 on 4th down. They tried a 4th down in the first quarter, and they're in a similar spot here to where they were in the first stanza, a bit in no man's land. And remember, West has already used 1 timeout in this 3rd stanza. Play clock down to 4. Play action. Ferguson flushed, throws downfield, incomplete. He had 2 men open in the flat. Appeared as though he was trying to target the out route on the sideline, but had Dillard open underneath. It's a turnover on downs, and Reagan holds.
I know that's an incomplete pass, and he was flushed out of the pocket. And let's see if we can take a look at it right there. You see Ferguson, he's looking one way. He's trying to make something happen, and you can see when you've got 54 right there, that's Seth Caldwell coming at you. You know, that's just a lot of moving parts for him to dissect in a really quick time. 4th down, an incomplete pass. But this defense has played well. I think that they can still bail them out. We've got to see what this Reagan offense does, though.
Reagan trying to regain the lead. Moyer gets the first call, and Moyer still on his feet, fumbles the ball. It's scooped up and going the other way, and the Titans take the lead. Kendall Williams with the scoop and score. Coach Snow said Kendall Williams is a kid that needs to have some offers, and maybe after that play he'll gain some on the United Rentals touchdown.
And you see the hard hat right there, defensive touchdown. Look at that. You know, that's kind of like their turnover belt. Come to work every day, you got that hard hat. I can't wait to look at this replay, though. It looked like Giovanni Riccardi might have been the one that really was the catalyst to make that play happen.
Extra point try. Good. So Jalen James knocks it through, and it's West who scores defensively. Kendall Williams, the 5'11 senior, as we take a look at the replay.
And let's take a look at it right there.
Yeah,
no, that is Mac David who really came in there. Mac David who made it happen.
And the easy scoop and score for Williams. Another look.
But that again, you know, we talked about West dominating both lines of scrimmage. That is a case where the defensive line really wreaked havoc on that offensive line. They came crashing down and just really made that play happen.
And now Reagan will have to regroup after the fumble by Canty. They'd find themselves down by 7 points again in this seesaw affair, the first turnover of the night. While we have a moment to remind you that Ortho Carolina's after-hours orthopedic urgent care is here for you when you need them most. Orthopedic urgent care is open weekdays until 8:30 p.m., Saturdays 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Ortho Carolina, you improve.
You know, Chris, they say a football game typically is decided, a close game, by 2 or 3 key plays, and I think we'll look back later tonight and see that that may have been one of those key plays and maybe turn the tide in favor of the Titans if they're able to pull away and secure the win.
Also think about that missed field goal that was blocked at the end of the first half as well, as it scooped up on the near sideline by Shamar Revell, then he steps out of bounds. Decent field position for Reagan, and that, Chris, that fumble recovery for a touchdown could end up being tonight's play of the game, brought to you by Ortho Carolina. We'll be showcasing the play of the game. Again, brought to you by Ortho Carolina. Ortho Carolina, you improve. And the defense will spend some time, well, the offense will, watching some of that film on their last drive. There's Mac David, who had the big fumble, forced fumble. Kendall Williams obviously had the scoop and score. And now a stoppage in play before the opening play of this drive.
Tell those fans had a lot to cheer about.
That's right. Greg Foshee will come off, perhaps another equipment malfunction. And Pat Smith, who blocked the field goal late in the first half, trots on.
Big man right there.
1st and 10 from the 29. Hollingsworth straight ahead. Mac David trying to bring him down, but Hollingsworth just carries David with him, and a pickup of 7 to bring up 2nd and short.
You know, Chris, we've talked about how strong Hollingsworth is and how physical he is when he's got the ball trying to push the line forward. I think those two players, and let's take a look at it right here, Hollingsworth versus Mac David, they may be the 2 strongest players on this field, and you can see them going head-to-head on that play.
I actually gave him 8, Chris. Just look at the physicality.
Wow, I mean David, incredible strength right there.
RPO. Is the ball out again? No, the ball was just blown dead. In to make the stop defensively, C.J. McCullough, a senior defensive end. And it's a loss of a couple, brings up 3rd down and a long 4 for Reagan.
And as McCullough comes in off the edge, you know, the one thing that Coach McGee had mentioned to me, he said they're so long, they're so athletic, being their defensive linemen and their linebackers kind of coming off the edge. And that length, and you know, it just gives them such a leverage coming off that end, and so hard for their linemen to try to deal with it.
West crowding the box, only back off a little bit defensively. Hollingsworth calls his own number, has the 1st down, and then it was lassoed down at the 47-yard line. It's a Crescent 4 to 5 point 1st down. Another 3rd down conversion for the Reagan offense.
Look at that jersey for Gabriel Hollingsworth. I mean, you can tell that young man has been in the football game, and I think you can kind of tell. He kind of had his bell rung right there, and he kind of gave the thumbs up sign to Coach McGee. I think they were checking on him to make sure he was able to come up, but look at this hit right there, and you can see he's immediately grabbing his face mask coming up out of that hit. I think that was a really hard hit going down to the ground.
I hate to be the one that has to wash that jersey tonight. Man, that OxyClean will get a lot of work.
You have to do something.
New set of downs nearing midfield. Hollingsworth over the middle, and it's dropped by Jones.
Well,
Jones had 2 big catches on the last drive and almost had a 3rd.
He almost had the trifecta right there, and I think that he knew that that was about to be a big play, and I think that Jones was thinking about the run after the catch. But it doesn't matter. That young sophomore still played a great game.
You know, Hollingsworth might be in the conversation to be a player of the game tonight.
No question.
Brought to you by the United States Marine Corps. The Marine Corps player of the game. The Marine Corps find the courage to fight and the will to win. A lot of nominees for our player of the game. 2nd and 10. Play action. Again this way, and it's thrown behind Bryson Canty. Brings up 3rd and 10.
Well, Hollingsworth has already showed a lot of courage and a lot of will to win right there. He's tough enough to be a United States Marine, I'll tell you that. I mean, you just look at that jersey. That is old school right there. This is kind of turning into a slugfest. I know it's a 28-21 game but I think there's still a lot of action left to be had in this game. Again, two rivals, two exceptionally good football teams. There you see Coach McGee giving the signal in to Hollingsworth. 3rd down and 10, I expect to see some kind of a slant, maybe a post across the field.
Reagan is 3 of 7 on 3rd downs. Empty set for Hollingsworth. Blindside pressure, and a diving try is incomplete, looking for Dylan Reed. And now 4th down facing the Reagan offense, and the Raiders will punt.
And maybe even worse than not converting on that 4th down is the hit that Hollingsworth is going to take right there. And there you see him, he's got his eyes down, he's looking downfield, and I don't know if maybe he came down on his foot wrong, but he certainly kind of pulled up a little gimpy there towards the end of that little trot.
Yeah, still trotting off the field a little gingerly and inspecting his spike. C.J. Hill trying to flip the field position again. Did a good job of that in the first half. Let's see if West wants to bring a rush. They do not. And this is returnable, but a minimal return for West. And they will start from shy of the 40-yard line. Good field position and a chance to add to this 7-point lead.
Wow.
It's been a good night for Jamani Wilson. He scored 3 touchdowns in the first half and running with a purpose this evening.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. Jamani Wilson has just been phenomenal. We talked at the beginning of the game how electric he can be, how he could score from anywhere on the field, and he showed it to us tonight. But despite the fact we know he's fast, he's shown that he can run between the tackles many times, over 30, about 25 carries. He has really carried the mail.
Some confusion defensively for Reagan as Ferguson keeps it on the RPO and then is wrestled down after a good open field tackle that time on the outside. A minimal gain, 2nd and 9.
Yeah, that's just the defensive line for Reagan crashing down on that play. Really gave Ferguson nowhere to go. Looked like he almost fumbled the ball. He was able to hold on to it going to the ground.
Yeah, what a fun night to watch these two teams in the trenches. The defensive lines versus the offensive lines. Some spectacular play that's going to get overlooked in this game.
And a chess match between the coaches.
Wilson scampers ahead, close to the 1st down, and no flag.
And a little bit of a late hit right there.
Look at Coach McGee just pat him on the back.
Hey,
that's all you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all you can do. You're playing against a player that's just wearing you out on just about every time he touches the ball.
It's another Crescent Ford of High Point 1st down as West marches into the plus territory. Again, trying to add to this 7-point lead. The game has been played within a 7-point margin all night long.
Absolutely.
RPO, Ferguson spins into a tackle and will bring up a 2nd down.
There is no quit in this Reagan defense. I mean, again, Coach McGee said that they've got to find a way to mix up their looks to try to stop Wilson.
Injured player down 2.
And that's Ferguson.
Yeah.
That would be huge for the Titans.
The Reagan coach is right there, Johnny, on the spot to check on Ferguson. As we documented earlier in the game, mutual respect here. A lot of those coaches on the Reagan side went to school here at West. These two head coaches, Adrian Snow for West Forsyth and Josh McGee for Reagan, best of friends. They talk all the time, but they won't talk this week. They'll spend some time chatting after the game tonight, but not a lot of conversation Monday through Thursday.
Well, you could see a little word or two communicated right there as Coach Snow went over there to look after his quarterback. There's definitely a lot of sportsmanship between these two teams. You know, they might give it everything and then some during the game, but when the game's over, you know, there may be some hard feelings, sure, but you're going to know that both of them gave their all, and, you know, they're going to live to fight another day. And here you see Ferguson coming off the field.
Good sign he's jogging off. We'll have to come out for one play, though, because the training staff did attend to him, and that means that Shane Jarvis, the backup quarterback who was just taking some snaps, Jarvis also one of the team's leading wide receivers, Jarvis should have to check in as Ferguson is being escorted to the sideline.
Yeah, I think Jarvis is a pretty good replacement. 6'4" frame. He is a senior. You know, he's going to know what to do with the ball. It could be a direct snap also to Wilson. You never know what they've got in the agenda or in the playbook right here.
Final 90 seconds of the third quarter. And it'll be Wilson who totes the mail. And still on his feet, bulldozes his way inside the 40 for another Crescent Fort of High Point first down.
Yeah, I see Ferguson already coming back onto the field, but when all you got to do is hand the ball off to Jamani Wilson, that's a pretty good option, I think, with a pretty good high dividends.
Yeah, that'll play.
Absolutely.
Hurry up offense here for West. 1:15 to go, third quarter. Play action, Ferguson over the middle, and that ball might have been intercepted. They're going to say no, it hit the ground. Taze Woods came away with it, pleading his case, but the official from the near sideline signaled that it hit the ground first.
It looked like a little bit of a quarter, half look on the defense. You've seen the linebacking crew all go back into a zone look, and let's see if he had it. No, it definitely hit the ground. A good call by the officials. But that was very good coverage by the Reagan defense.
Our crew right on it as always. Back to Wilson, who gets it for the 25th time tonight. Flag is in for a hold. Another flag comes in. Wilson, by the way, Chris, on that last carry, not this one, has just usurped 200 yards rushing in the contest.
Wow, 200 yards rushing, and we're still in the third quarter, Chris. That's a great performance. Looks like this flag here is probably going to be in the vicinity of holding. We'll look for the call.
And would be the first penalty this half on West Forsyth. We're only penalized 4 times in the first half. It is indeed a hold caught against the Titans, and we'll negate that second down run.
When you see one of your offensive linemen kind of already on his knees when the flag came out, that's a pretty good indication of where the call's going.
So second down and 9 becomes second and 19. Here's another look.
Yeah, take a look at the play right here. You got Wilson going to the outside, and he's got a lot of speed.
Maybe the hold happened. There's a couple of different holds you could have called.
Yeah, there's holding on every play. Of course, we know that.
Ferguson spins away from one tackler, spins into another one, and now just throws one up that's picked off. It's Woods who gets his first pick of the season. Taze Woods doing it all on both sides of the ball tonight.
That's another one of our candidates for the player of the game. The 2 touchdowns already, and now 2 big defensive plays by Taze Woods. That is a big game by this junior. Take a look at it right there, Ferguson, when he spun out and threw the ball out, and Woods just jumped up and made a big play. That is right in the right spot at the right time.
11th interception for the Reagan defense this season. And Woods, boy, what a playmaker he is becoming. The junior. Can't wait to see how he grows into his senior campaign. And flags as they were trying to direct snap it to Moyer. Perhaps another false start, and it is.
Yeah, also direct snap to Moyer. Yeah, direct snap to Moyer. I was looking to see if Ferguson was on the field, but he was.
Hollingsworth?
Hollingsworth, but he was.
46 seconds to go, third quarter. What a game.
What a third quarter. I mean, this has been a very well-played third quarter by both teams. Remember, coming out of the break, it looked like Reagan was going backwards and it, found the tenacity to pull themselves out of bad field position.
Only score for West Forsyth, that fumble recovery by Kendall Williams that went for 6. On 1st and 15, Hollingsworth throws one this side. Canty leaps up to pull it in, gets the penalty yardage back, +1. It'll be 2nd and 9. And still right on schedule offensively for Reagan.
Yeah, and we'll see some tempo right here. We're going to see if they come up and try to get a playoff. I don't think they have to take a snap now with the play clock at 28 seconds.
They do not. About a 4-second difference, play clock versus game clock. And Coach Josh McGee for Reagan may want to send this one to the 4th quarter with his team only down by 7. And that appears to be the message from the 9th-year head coach of Reagan. 4 fingers go up on both sides, and we enter the home stretch of this epic rivalry contest. We are through 3 fantastic quarters at Jerry Peoples Stadium, and you had a feeling it was going to come down to the final 12 minutes. We'll see who pulls it out after this timeout on the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals, presented by Cap Ed Test Prep. We start the fourth quarter in a 7-point game. Lights are out, stars are out on this great night. It's our Cap Ed Test Prep fan cam. Cap Ed, take control of your academic future with Cap Ed Test Prep. Reagan ball as we start the fourth stanza, facing a 2nd down and 9. Hollingsworth bobbles the snap and then picks it up and is thrown for a loss of 6 yards. 3rd down and very long coming up.
There's another big play by McCullough coming off the end. Let's see if we can take a look at it right here. Hollingsworth is going to take the snap. A little bit of a bobble in the snap, though. I think that's what allowed McCullough to get there so quickly. Good officiating by the officials to go ahead and blow that ball dead before someone ends up getting hurt. 3rd down and long, though. This is going to be a big play. See what Coach McGee dials up right here.
Reagan 3 of 8 on 3rd downs. They've missed on their last 2 tries. Pressure off the edge. Hollingsworth stays in. His receiver slipped, and it's almost intercepted. Trying to target Tajay Woods. But once again, Jake Hill, who's been ubiquitous defensively for West Forsyth, in on that coverage.
Well, Jake Hill's already got an interception this year, and he was trying to get another one. He has been all over the place tonight from that safety position. He's played a great game for defensive coordinator John McIntosh. He's had a great game.
C.J. Hill on to punt. Trying to pin West back deep again. Williams back deep. 2 on the play clock. Kick is off. Williams wants to angle this way. Williams to midfield. Williams with a house call. There is a flag down, and we will wait and see about the flag at the 42-yard line.
There may be a flag, but that was a phenomenal effort by Kendall Williams, 5'11", 180-pound senior.
We have multiple flags. A couple of flags are down also. Let's wait and sort it all out.
If it is a hold or a block in the back call of some sort for West, it's going to be frustrating for Coach Snow because it was really unnecessary.
West set up a great return. Personal foul called as a crackback block called against West. That was declined. And then a holding called against West. So obviously I think the hold occurred further down the field, back toward where the receiver fielded the punt. So they're going to take that flag to try and back West up a little further.
Well, there you see Coach Snow doing some clapping. You know, he's trying to keep his players rallied up. Let's see if we can take a look at it right here, see if we can see the infraction. And there is a hold right there by McCullough. I don't know if that's what they called. That's not the vicinity of the flag.
Maybe there. And there's
hard to say.
There's the illegal block or the crackback block.
Yeah, hard to say.
So either way, the punt return is negated. And now West forced to operate with a 7-point lead from the 31. And it's Jamani Wilson upended at the 38.
Wow, that first step by Jamani Wilson, he made a little 1-2 step. He's got some quick giddy up in that step. He's got as fast and as quick a first step as any running back that I've seen in North Carolina this year. I've seen a lot of football. What a tremendous talent. Look at this first step right here. Look right there. 1-1-2 go. And I mean, really quick first step.
2nd and 3. A lot of football left in this one. Wilson straight ahead again and gets a yard, maybe 2. Would depend on the spot. And looks like they're going to mark him maybe a yard short and bring up a 3rd down.
And again, what is remarkable about this young man is that he is able to run between the tackles. He has the physical fitness, the strength, the frame to be able to handle run between the tackle. That's not something that a lot of small backs of his stature are good at.
They did indeed give him a 1st down, so it's a Crescent Ford of High Point 1st down. Crescent Ford of High Point, we keep you rolling. Trips to the left. 2 minutes gone in the 4th stanza. Wilson gets the carry for the 3rd straight time. We'll check that it's Dillard who gets a yard.
And Trevor Willard right there on the stop. Again, the big 6'5", 300 or 230-pound defensive end. And this Reagan defense, they're still playing with a lot of intensity. They're one possession, really one play away from turning this game around.
They've been on the field an awful lot, though, especially in the second half.
They have. And right here, Coach Snow and this West offense, they're just going to run it down their throat till they can stop it.
Play action. Ferguson wants the home run ball. Incomplete. Had Jamani Wilson open, but he could not haul it in. Third down.
Wilson appeared to be wide open.
And you wonder if maybe that leg is bothering Wilson a little bit, Chris.
I don't know. It looked like he pulled up. Let's see if we can take a look at it right there. Great play fake on the play action. You see a good pass by Ferguson. And I almost wonder if Wilson didn't see it. It just looked like he didn't see the ball coming until right there at the very end.
Brings up a third down. West tonight, 6 of 9 on third downs, have not been as efficient in the second half. Straight ahead, and fourth down coming as Dillard got the carry. Willard again in on the stop.
Well, looks like this Reagan defense, kind of bend but not break. And there you see him right there, that defensive line kind of crashing down. Willard once again with the big play. He had 16 tackles for a loss coming in. He is a beast in the backfield. And he is giving this Raider team a chance, get out there, bend but don't break, give your offense a chance to get the ball back, give Hollingsworth a chance to get out there and try to make something happen.
Taze Woods back deep to receive this punt of Jake Hill.
And don't forget, Reagan's a great punt blocking team. We'll see if they come after it right here.
Bringing looks like a mild rush. High snap. And almost blocked. Does Woods want to field? He stumbles, and the ball then, I think, goes out of bounds. A lot to sort out. It'll be Reagan ball at the 17-yard line as we take a look as we head to break. Almost disastrous there for the Raiders, almost disastrous on the punt block, but Reagan gets the football back, trailing by 7 when you return to Clemens. Take a look at our Woods of Terror scary hit of the game. Woods of Terror, the Triad's scariest haunted thrill park. Taze Woods coming out of nowhere to make that big play, doing it on both sides of the football.
Wow, Taze Woods has been all over the field tonight, offense and defense, but wow, he laid the lumber right there. The big hit of the night. Wow, came out of nowhere like you mentioned. Big hit, big hit.
And Chris, with more than 160 physicians at over 40 locations throughout the Carolinas, Ortho Carolina is your destination for orthopedic excellence in care and service, one patient at a time. Visit orthocarolina.com to learn more about our physicians, services, and locations. Ortho Carolina, you improve. Reagan trailing by 7. And we'll start from their own 16-yard line. Can Gabriel Hollingsworth engineer another late touchdown drive? He did it against East Forsyth a week ago. Hollingsworth throws a deep ball for Moyer, incomplete. James Gordon in coverage for West Forsyth.
That is the third pass tonight that James Gordon out there at the corner position has had tremendous pass coverage. He has been all over the place out there. We'll take a look at it right there. Look at the vertical leap by Gordon. He plays it at the right time, gets his hand right up there in Canty's face to make the pass deflection. he's earned a game ball for his play today at the corner position.
A lot of kids are going to earn some helmet stickers tonight.
Absolutely.
Hollingsworth, quick out. Moyer, and he is swarmed under. Boy, a lot of white or gold jerseys coming to the football that time. It's a gain of maybe just a yard, 3rd down and long for Reagan.
Well, you see him right there, number 2, Kendall Williams. He may have been the first there, but when Mac David got there to kind of clean things up, nobody was going anywhere. See Coach McGee reading the coverage, kind of waiting to see what's going to happen there. Now he's going to signal the play in to Gabriel Hollingsworth.
And they were still going through Reed's pregame, Coach McGee and Hollingsworth, about when to get rid of balls, trying to read coverages in the pregame warm-ups. Hollingsworth throwing for the 3rd straight play, looking for Moyer again, and he cannot make the catch. Gordon once again there in coverage, and that's been a fun matchup to watch all night long.
You know, I don't know if the offensive staff for Reagan, whether Coach Vogel or Coach McGee, identified that they wanted to go after number 12, James Gordon, but it has been a great matchup to watch him go after some passes from that corner spot tonight.
Moyer was targeted twice, nearly made a couple of nice catches. And now a punting situation as we take one more look.
Look at it one more time. You know, it looked like that time Gordon was beat.
Maybe Canty jumped just a hair too early.
Maybe. Gordon may have even got away with a face mask penalty right there.
C.J. Hill on to punt. And a fair catch was fake called that time by Williams. And good field position for West Forsyth. They will have a chance to add to the 7-point lead on the other side of this timeout. This is the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals presented by Cap Ed Test Prep. Nervous moments as we come down the stretch of this week's Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals. West Forsyth leading by 7. The difference in the game right now, a fumble recovery and touchdown early in the 3rd quarter. And now West may be trying to add on to this 7-point advantage. Titans will start on the plus side of the 50, Chris Hughes.
I was about to say, you can kind of see the anxiety on some of those students' faces. You know, some of them are still into the game, and, you know, they want to see this Titan team pull it out.
It's Dillard on the edge, and a good ankle tackle made that time on the outside. It was Lamar Williams, the linebacker, in to make the tackle, and a gain of just 2. It's 2nd down and 8.
And you're still seeing them give it to Wilson.
Boy, now with 7:14 to go, the time starting to really tick down, and I think both coaches are pretty cognizant of that.
Yeah, and, you know, Coach McGee said that he understands that they're going to give it to one and just run it down their throats, and he's got to find a way to stop it, and here's the time where they need to come up with a scheme to do so.
They crowd the box. It's Wilson. Again, tries to leak to the edge, and he's carrying a man with him, Gavin Brandon, the team leader in tackles, in to make the big stop and bring up a big 3rd down.
And you mentioned they crowd the box, and everybody kind of collapses in and kind of clogs up those running lanes. But Wilson is able to just kind of compose it, get to the outside, and you saw him right there pull the defender for long yardage to get up there close to moving the chains.
West is 60% on 3rd downs as both coaches look on. Back to Wilson, and bulldozes his way ahead for a Crescent Fort of High Point 1st down to keep the drive alive.
Just enough to move the chains, and also the clock's going to continue to move. Take a look at it right there. Wilson's going to get it, and he makes a move, but that offensive line is still continuing to get a lot of push coming off the line of scrimmage.
Stick with Wilson here?
Sure, why not?
If it ain't broke, right?
It's an easy answer.
Play action, out route, and caught by C.J. Graham. Graham makes his first catch of the night, 13th of the season. Interesting play call on first down when you've got the clock on your side.
Yeah, it's an interesting play call to risk stopping the clock. But, you got to keep that defense honest. They think, or, Wilson is the #1 back. Just kind of keeping them honest right there.
Back this way. Wilson again takes a big hit. Clock does stop as he gets out of bounds, but will be close to another Crescent Fort of High Point first down, and he does achieve one.
He takes a big hit, but he gets right back up.
And was there a flag down? I believe there is, back at the 20-yard line. So this might be a hold, and it is on West Forsyth. So that negates the first down run. 7th penalty of the night on the Titans. And a very inopportune time to be called for a holding foul.
Yeah, especially on a play like that when your running back gets the first down. You don't want to put those empty yards on a running back that you get nothing out of, because he'll still feel that hit tomorrow.
We had overtime last week. A great one between Oak Grove and Ledford, maybe destined for overtime again. Still 6.5 or 6:17 to go in this one.
We're one fumble, one interception away, and it could happen. Reagan's athletic enough to make a big play.
This is Wilson. Wilson! Oh, what a hit. He spun down, but still gets a first down. And now he's slow to get up. Big hit that time made by John Gillette, the rover back. And you can just see Wilson. He's starting to absorb some of that contact, but maybe starting to wear down a little bit.
Yeah, but watch his speed right here around the corner. Right there, he sees an opening, and he's going to take off. And you can see the Jets turn on by him, but he did take a big hit. You can see them attending to him right there on the sidelines. That young man's played a well of a ball game.
West can achieve a first down at the 2-yard line. Dillard into the game now at running back. And it's Dillard looking for the edge. Well, look at the stutter step just to stay on his feet. What a move by Zy Dillard.
Yeah, again, Zy Dillard would be the feature running back for a lot of teams in North Carolina. He is a phenomenal talent, 5'7", 180 pounds senior. It's great when you got that 1-2 punch in Wilson and Dillard.
And Chris, was there another flag now?
I don't see it. I did not see it,
but it
looks like there is.
It's a face mask on Reagan, but I believe it's just the 5-yard face mask. Either way, it's going to be half the distance to the goal. And we'll set up a 1st and goal now for West as we take another peek.
And looks like you saw it right there. Right there.
Yep.
Willard.
By the way, no Wilson in the backfield here. He's still on the sideline for this 1st and goal play.
I keep him on the sideline until you really needed him.
Well, he might be.
No, there he is. He's in there.
Now.
He's in there.
But instead, they give it away to the other back, Dillard, who's fighting his way down and stopped at the 1. A little fire and ice for this West Forsyth offense.
Grant Copeland tried to knock him in there, the Shrine Bowl bound center. Look at it again right here. Dillard's got a lot of push, and he's pushing really hard. And, man, if this was the NFL, I think they would take a look at it, because I think the ball crossed the plane. But a lot of fight by Dillard right there trying to get in.
Clock still moving as it becomes 1st and goal. Ball is fumbled. Reagan says they have it. And what a huge turnover as the Raiders pick it up at the goal line.
Wow. Just when it looked like West was about to punch their ticket to get on out of here with the win, Reagan defense says hold the phone, not so fast.
It's Isaiah Reed who picked up the fumble.
Take a look at it right here, and that's just some mishandling of the ball by the quarterback, Jalen Ferguson. Ball's certainly out, no question. And there you see Reed right there, Johnny on the spot to pick it up.
6th fumble recovery of the season for the Reagan defense. And now each side with a big turnover.
Now they've got.
And now 99 yards to go for Paydirt. Down to the field and Ryan.
That was exactly what the Reagan sideline needed. They were starting to have some long faces down here on the sideline, but as soon as that fumble was recovered, it gave them a jolt over here.
Incomplete pass over the middle. Reagan wanted a flag as they were once again trying to target Montrell Jones. Remember, there's no uncatchable in high school football, but probably not going to get a call on a throw like that.
No, but Hollingsworth is really slow getting up. He took quite a lick, and it looks like Pat Smith is also hobbled getting up.
Yeah, he's coming to the sideline, walking off under his own power, and he will get some attention. Remember, Smith had that blocked field goal late in the first half. How big is that looming right now?
Yeah, very, very big, and, you know, still a very precarious situation for this Reagan offense. You know, they're one bad snap or one missed block from having either a safety
or perhaps a touchdown against them.
Absolutely.
Hollingsworth keeps it on the RPO and gets out of the shadow of his own goalpost out to the 6, but it'll be 3rd down coming up with less than 5 minutes to go.
And you're going to do what you can to convert right here, but you still don't have to. You don't have to try to go for it on 4th. The punt is still a very good play in this situation.
But your defense has been on the field an awful lot, and a quick 3 and out probably does not do them any favors.
No, you're 100% correct here.
Hollingsworth audibling at the line. You can see the play clock in the top portion of your screen tick inside of 10 seconds. Hollingsworth with a clean pocket, throws high and incomplete. Looking for Canty, and let's go ahead and make that tonight's Boost Mobile call of the game. Boost Mobile gives you everything you could ever want in a wireless carrier, and they continue to call. The defense does on the big corner out there, and another good play by James Gordon.
Yeah, another big play by James Gordon, and just rack it up right there. John McIntosh, the defensive coordinator for this West team, called up a great coverage, sent 3 men back there in coverage, preventing that first down, because that would have been a huge conversion for Reagan, but instead they're forced to punt.
And could be very good field position for West as the kick is away, and it's fielded and returned by Williams, and he is wrestled down inside the 20-yard line. So West gets the football back, less than 4 minutes to go, Chris, and a chance to put this one away.
Well, at this point, they were able to escape the turnover by quarterback Jalen Ferguson a second ago, so they got some different life. We do have a penalty.
It looks like it was holding called against Reagan there. And now a decision time for Adrian Snow. Do you make them re-kick?
I think you just take the ball where it's at. I don't know. We'll see what he's willing to do here. But you've got the ball going in. I think you just keep it, decline the penalty.
Penalty is holding against Reagan.
It looks like they're going to accept the penalty. And is that half the distance from the end of the run? It appears so. And so now West will have the ball 1st and goal at the 8-yard line.
Okay. Yep, they're going to have the ball, yeah.
Here's
there you go. There you go. There's the hold right there, and you could see them on the tackle there.
It's more of a takedown. You'll get 2 points for that in wrestling this winter. Been a tough night from a penalty standpoint. There's another flag down.
They just didn't pick that one up earlier.
I mean, might as well leave one on the field because it seems like there's been a penalty on almost every play. Leave it there for later. Less than 4 to go. Another fumble. And again, Ferguson falls on it.
Again, we're one play away from this Reagan defense getting a pick 6 or a fumble return, taking it to the house.
And you see Reagan calling its first timeout. Coach McGee knows how important the clock is now with his team down by 7. And you have to figure, Chris, it's going to be for West Forsyth, keep the ball on the ground, leading by 7 and trying to put one in again.
Yes, and it's a wet field too, so all they want to do is try to run the clock, keep the ball moving.
You mentioned the wet field. Let's go down to Ryan for more on the field conditions. Ryan?
Yeah, the field's gotten kind of wetter as the game has really gone along. It's really caused some problems. You've seen some bad snaps. I mean, Reagan, every time they've come to the sideline, they've been working on their quarterback center exchanges, and it's really kind of caused some problems for both teams, guys.
And you could kind of see as the lights kind of shining there off that pylon, you could see the moisture and kind of the sheen over the grass. I mean, that is a very slick field down there.
Don't forget, we'll have another great game coming up next week right here on My 48. A couple of big rivals. The Thomasville High School Bulldogs travel to take on the Yellow Jackets of Lexington. That'll be next Friday at 7:30 right here on My 48. Looking forward to that one as we close down the regular season. 2nd and 13. Dillard is stonewalled at the line of scrimmage.
Dillard on the carry.
And it brings up a 3rd down. Obviously within field goal range here if you're West Forsyth, though.
Yeah, you are within field goal range, and right there you got to credit that defensive line for Reagan. They're still fighting as hard as they can. I saw Isaiah Reed, and they're fighting tooth and nail trying to force a fumble and doing exactly what they're coached up to do.
So what's the play call for the offensive staff for West here? 3rd down and goal from the 12-yard line.
I say you still run the ball. I don't risk a throw of any kind right here. Throw the ball. If you do think you want to kick it, try to get the ball centered in the middle of the field. I'm not so sure I even want to kick it.
That is the wettest end of the field, too.
It is.
It's 3rd and goal. Play action. Fade for the end zone. Knocked away. A good defensive play by Moyer in the end zone, as West was trying to target C.J. Graham.
Well, you got to credit Snow for having the guts to go after it right here. You see the throws on point. The coverage is very good. And, wow, that is just great coverage. I'm not so sure that Graham would have been able to come in bounds anyway, kind of in that back corner of the end zone. And it looks like we are going to get a field goal attempt right here.
It looks like it's Jalen Smith to come on and try the 30-yard field goal. Jalen James, I beg your pardon, on to try the field goal. And a timeout by Reagan.
Let's not forget Tajay Woods, and he was lined up there on the edge, kind of in a track sprinter's stance. He already has a blocked punt and a blocked field goal on the season. This is an exceptional special teams program for this Reagan Raider team. And hey, let's not forget, Chris, we over the course of the past several years have seen a lot of these Reagan West Forsyth games, and how many times has it come to a defensive play or a blocked kick to win it?
Well, you remember a few years ago, I think it was what, 2014, 2015, West actually blocked a kick and returned it for a score to win the game at Reagan.
At Reagan.
It was a phenomenal game. So yeah, you're exactly right.
And last year as well, it came down.
And you know, as we look at Jalen James as well, who's getting ready to try this field goal, you know, James is a guy that's not necessarily a field goal kicker. As we welcome you into our broadcast booth, Chris Edwards, Chris Hughes. He's a football player that is learning how to kick. So a lot of times you see these high schools that have a soccer player, but that's not the case here at West.
Yes, and I like the fact that he's got a football player out there, because kicking is a football play. It's not just a secondary part of the game. But remember, Ryan's already mentioned that is the wettest end of the field. So let's see if they can get the snap and spot down.
It'll be James from 30 yards. Kick is good. And West takes a 10-point lead with less than 3 to go.
That's a big-time kick, big-time play. You see that special teams unit congratulating one another. That is a huge kick. Can't overstate that enough here with 2:56 to go.
Especially when you're looking for some consistency from that unit. That will give your kicker a confidence boost going into the final week of the regular season and then into the playoffs.
Absolutely, and that's what we need going into the playoffs for Coach Snow, is to come up with some consistency on special teams.
But now if you're Reagan, you're down by 2 scores. It's a 10-point game. You got to score quickly, I imagine here. Is that the conversation that Coach McGee on the Reagan sideline is telling his team?
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to change the plays that he's going to be able to call, because he does have to find a way to get a quick strike if possible. Now, they don't have to score a touchdown right away. They can still get a field goal, but with 2 minutes and 56 seconds to go, they can't have a 3 and out, and they also can't afford to have any kind of a turnover.
can you still run the football?
Absolutely. You can still run your RPOs, especially the way that they bring in their jet sweeps and try to get flow going one way and allow Gabriel to maybe make something happen with his feet, but they can run it.
Deep kick, and Reagan will start from the 20-yard line. Was there a flag down? There was a flag on the kickoff. It'll be offsides on West. There's a great look at the football and how wet it is. And Reagan actually only has one timeout left, so I beg your pardon on that.
Well, there you see Moyer sitting back there. See if Moyer's going to get a chance to return this or not.
And a return here. And it's out inside the 40-yard line at the 38, and that's where Reagan will start. Again, one timeout left for Reagan. 2:51 left, and West leading by 2 scores.
Kind of a dangerous situation right there, kicking to Woods with the success that he's had throughout the course of the night.
You want to act like a star? You better give me a star up. Get him up. Alan, do it.
Hollingsworth looking, floats one, screen pass to Moyer, makes the catch, and then upended shy of the marker, and he also got out of bounds. Hollingsworth took another big hit there.
He took a big hit, but Reagan is already at midfield, just here shy of the 50-yard line. There's still plenty of opportunities for the Raiders to get over here in scoring position. Again, they don't have to get the touchdown. They can kick a field goal right here.
2nd down and 2. What a game.
Yeah, tremendous game, no question.
Hollingsworth wants to throw another deep ball. Moyer skies up and makes the catch. Clock stops to move the chains. 2:37 left.
Big play by this Raider team, and they are already on the fringe field goal range. I know that Coach McGee is very confident at a 42 yards, so they're very close already.
Second catch of the night for Canty. They'll target the outside again. Incomplete. Canty came down out of bounds.
Wow, what an effort, though, by Canty to come down. Great play calling. Let's take a look at it right here, see if he's out of bounds. Look at the camera angle right here from the end zone. The catch is up. One leg down. Ooh, glad the ball came out, though.
Let's see, one more look. Maybe a little push there.
A little bit.
Second down and 10. They run with Moyer for a couple of yards. And when does Coach McGee want to use his final timeout?
I don't think you call it right now. I think you just got to get up and get to the huddle as fast as you can. Looks like they're in their tempo.
Reagan facing a 3rd down. They are 7 of 11 on 3rd downs tonight. Hollingsworth quick out to Canty. Darts ahead, and
should be
close to the marker.
Should be enough to move the chains. If so, the clock will stop as they reset the chains. Let's see what they look. I think he's close.
I think he got it. But again, it will depend on the spot.
Absolutely. That's a 1st down.
And they will bring the chains out just to make sure.
Not a good spot. Yeah, there you go. Short spot for the Raiders, but 2 down territory. You've got to go for it right here. 4th down and 1.
Trailing by 10. 2 big plays in this second half. Obviously the field goal by West a moment ago, but the scoop and score by Kendall Williams in the 3rd quarter. That's been the difference in the game thus far.
Yes, the game kind of hangs in the balance on this play.
Reagan converted its only 4th down try of the night earlier in the contest. The officials want to make sure they've got the measurement just right. Do you have to go, obviously, for the first down here, correct? You can't go for it all.
This short, I would go for the first down. You just got to change. Yeah, under no circumstance do I, as a play caller, have the guts to throw it downfield. Now, you never know. I mean, Coach McGee might catch them sleeping and go for the home run ball right here and score. Now, you do see Pat Smith right there in the middle of the nose tackle, and that's certainly going to affect your play calling, especially if Hollingsworth can get off tackle and try to get it himself.
An empty set for Hollingsworth. 4th and a yard. Woods fakes the sweep, and Hollingsworth is stopped. And the defense prevails for the Titans.
Wow. What a turn of events right there. Pat Smith, you see him anchoring that defense right in the middle of the nose tackle. He is a big object, and there you see Mac David as well right in the middle of it.
And Chris, this is going to be our Ortho Carolina play of the game. Ortho Carolina, you improved.
C.J. McCullough, Mac David, both of them right there in the middle. Of course, you see Pat Smith kind of clogging up the hole.
And when the defense needed to step up most, Chris, they did.
They did. Again, credit John McIntosh and this entire West Forsyth defense.
And West Forsyth going to take a timeout here. Coach Snow didn't like the way his team was lined up. 1 minute and 50 seconds left. And there is one of our big plays of the game. Big defensive stop that time by Mac David and the defense. And this will set West up in good position. 9-1, 3-1 in league play. Perhaps setting up a big showdown at Glenn next week, depending on what the Bobcats do tonight. That could be for the conference championship.
Last I checked, the Bobcats were leading at R.J. Reynolds, so you know that could be for the outright championship tonight. We'll certainly see how things play out.
And that's important, whoever wins, if you can win the conference
outright,
it is. Because then you're an automatic qualifier from the conference, and you probably get 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, depending on how it shakes out. You could be home all the way through the 3rd round of the playoffs.
And they need that, depending on how their max preps rating kind of ranks, plays itself out, because you want to try to play some of those big Charlotte teams at home.
To the ground, and it's Jamoni Wilson. And Wilson, no real surprise, he is our Marine Corps player of the game. Wilson has found the courage to fight and the will to win tonight. Over 230 yards rushing. He has just been phenomenal. 231 yards rushing. Just a great, great night. 3 touchdowns, all in the first half. Have yourself a night, Jamoni Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know how he can be considered underrated by some people. He is rated. He's rated #1 or top 2 or 3 in my book anyway. One of the most electric backs.
You see a lot more statewide football than obviously I do. But I don't know that there's anybody in the state that's on his level right now. If he runs this way for the rest of his career, and West hoping it's a long career.
Yeah, I mean, there's some backs in the same arena that he's at.
Sure.
I mean, there's no question about that. I cannot wait to get him down at the Shrine Bowl. Not necessarily to see him go against the Sandlappers and go against the best of South Carolina, but just seeing these backs and these players compete and practice against each other is a sight to be seen, because you get the best of the best on the same fields.
Reagan out of timeouts, so West can just kneel down the final 100 seconds of this one, and West Forsyth will pick up their 13th win in the series and win another competitive contest. This is the 8th straight season, or this is the 7th straight season for West with 8 or more wins in a campaign. They have just been the model of consistency, have not had a losing season since 2012, and now in the driver's seat to win yet another conference championship.
They've always been one of the standard bearers in the CPC. Again, I've been around this conference since 1985, and you always had to either go through the West teams or play them in a meaningful game late.
And another knee. You know, it's funny, we're talking to Coach Snow this week, and I asked him about last year, and you know, losing that game to Reagan and losing in the first round, and he said, you know, we lost back-to-back games last year, and you would have thought the apocalypse was coming to Clemens.
Oh yeah. you know, they take their football serious here, whether it's their Pop Warner teams or just these Titans here, and even on the JV ranks, you know, they take it serious. I mean, football is big business here in the western side of Forsyth County.
It'll be a 31-21 win for West Forsyth tonight as they take the knee. And now the Titans have the inside track for the game next week at another conference championship. Nothing for Reagan to be ashamed of. The Raiders played a whale of a football game as well.
Now, this is two quality teams. Again, you know, we said that last week. You hate to see teams that play as hard as they played have to lose a game, but unfortunately, you know, that's just the state of our business. Somebody's got to win, somebody's got to lose, but these two teams, they gave it their all.
West improves to 9-1, 3-1 in league play. Reagan drops to 8-2, 2-2 in the conference. And man, another hard-fought game between two very good football teams. I get a feeling both these clubs may take a deep playoff run. We'll take a timeout, and when we return, we will hand out some hardware on our Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals. Back with more after this timeout from Clemens, where the Titans win it by 10. (31-21) the final. West Forsyth over Reagan. Students celebrate with their football playing friends, and a big victory tonight for West Forsyth as they move to 9-1 and now control their own destiny for a conference championship.
Oh, they certainly do. Fortunes played out in their favor tonight, both with the other games in the conference and with their play here tonight against Reagan. West Forsyth came in, took care of business. You know, I said I thought this was the best game in North Carolina tonight between these two programs, and the game didn't disappoint. Not only did West Forsyth play above expectations, they came in, Jamani Wilson, they were phenomenal. But let's tip our caps to Reagan and Coach Josh McGee. They played a hard-fought, well-coached game. I thought they did a lot of things right. The ball just didn't bounce in their favor enough times.
Well, time to hand out some hardware. Down on the field, Ryan Stone ready to hand out our Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals trophy. Ryan?
Joined now by Coach Snow for West Forsyth. 31-21 victory for you guys tonight. How big of a win was this, especially with all the conference implications on the line?
Sets up a big one next week. In the league, they're all big now, so you got to be ready to play. And I was proud of our kids. They fought the fight, and it was awesome.
It's certainly a big-time rivalry game, no question about that. Your running back, Jamani Wilson, had a monster game tonight. I think he had 230 yards on the ground. What do you think of his performance?
Did a heck of a job. Like I said, those boys up front did a good job too, but I was proud of our defense. After that first drive, they stoned them the rest of the way and got us a score too, so it was an awesome, awesome team effort.
Certainly a big, like I said, big rivalry again tonight. Things got a little testy there at times. How special is this rivalry?
Oh, it's awesome. Both schools, we know a lot of people. We know them, they know us, and that's what makes it fun. So, I mean, I was excited for kids.
Yeah, certainly the case. You guys certainly deserve this
Pat
tonight.
Murphy's going to take it. Head coach, de facto head coach Pat Murphy's going to take it. You know, your assistant head.
So we'll go.
West hoping that's not the only hardware they're going to hoist this year. Ryan, thanks. Chris, your final thoughts as we wrap this one up tonight.
Again, this game didn't disappoint. The biggest game in the state tonight. Both these two teams come in playing great football. I thought it was a great play game. You know, again, West made a few more plays than Reagan, but two tremendous teams.
A lot of fun. We'll see another good one, we think, next week as Thomasville hits the road to take on Lexington, a big two-way matchup there. Still some conference implications there with Thomasville beating Oak Grove tonight, so a lot of fun coming up in our regular season finale next week.
Absolutely right. Coach Snow said every game gets big from this point forward. Next week, season finale games, the playoffs. This is what high school football is all about.
We want to thank everyone, including Ortho Carolina, Bojangles, and all of our sponsors who make tonight's games possible. Also, thanks to United Rentals for giving us those high end-zone camera views, Mountain Fried Chicken for providing the crew meals each and every week, and to Capitol Metals in High Point for supplying the plaques and trophies seen in tonight's game. So for Chris Hughes and Ryan Stone and the rest of our crew led in the truck tonight by Russell Jones and Lori Bates, this is Chris Edwards saying good night from Clemens, where West Forsyth wins it 31-21. We'll talk to you next week in Lexington for Thomasville at Lexington. Until then, good night, and thanks for watching the Ortho Carolina Friday Night Rivals presented by Cap Ed Test Prep.